Ladies love the skin.
Ow.
Bring it a little bit closer. The good skin, that is. That's why having a proper skincare routine is very important, and you need to feel Lateej. The process is so easy, just 4 steps. You got your daily face wash. That's going to clean your face up nice and right. You got your exfoliator scrub. That's going to open up your pores. You got your AM moisturizer with the SPM 20, which is going to protect you from the sun. You also got your PM moisturizer, which is going to make sure your skin is protected throughout the night. Tej has tons of reviews from dedicated customers across the world. I know I said a lot, but it's okay, because guess what? It comes with an instruction card to explain to you in detail what to do morning and night. And because Tej is a sponsor, they're offering my family 30% off along with a free gift. Just click that link that's in the description and feel the Tej.
Wait. I know what you're going to say. I'm not a man and I don't have a beard, but he does. And so does he. I have 3 points for you that's going to help you grow your beard, and not just grow it, but hydrate it, allow it to come in healthy and shiny, and be able to groom it properly without all the flaking and the itchiness that sometimes comes with grooming the beard. Okay, number 1, be patient and consistent. Number 2, resist the urge to trim and shape your beard for the first 4 to 6 weeks. Number 3, don't hesitate to start now using products.
Just gotta take a moment to see. Oh, my beard looking so good. Man. Make sure y'all click that link.
Please tune in to our next video. We're going to give you more value, more information, and don't forget to purchase our products online at assuredmannaturals.com. There you can get 15% off when you use code Lapeef15, and we'll see you in the next video.
Happy Friday, y'all. How y'all doing today? Or tonight?
To introduce us.
Dang. I'm gonna get to it. Mistaken. HD. Marky Mark. AP. And I'm Shan Monet, and this is a Chic critique. How y'all doing tonight? AP on the road just driving. He don't even know where he going. He just driving.
Mind the business, Shan.
Driving.
Yeah, no man.
They couldn't see a shake, Shan. You didn't do your shake. You didn't do your shake.
Oh, I got the like the college clothes today, baby.
AP say the earth is his turf. He'll go where he feel.
What? I've never said that, but I'm gonna do it.
They're very serene to me. Like if I go somewhere, like I like going on road trips, especially when I'm driving at night. No traffic. It's just peaceful.
I hate driving.
I love it.
I don't want to like I can't take long road trips. I just hate being in a car that long. If it's too long, I'll just rather fly. I can do maybe 5 hours, my max now. Anything over that, I'd rather just fly.
Yeah, I would give it about maybe 8 hours, 8 to 10. Mm-hmm. Once I get past 10, because Indianapolis is like 11 and a half. Yeah, I'm just about to fly. Call it a day.
I don't like leaving it.
That's me too. 10 hours is the cap. I can't, you know.
Hey, look, I can do 17 if I need to. I love driving.
Oh, cool. Go up to Boston and get my son and bring him back.
Get me?
I thought he was going to be like, oh, when do you want him back?
No, to get my son. He's flying in, so it's all good. But yeah, that's a no for me.
I drove to New York a few times. I was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I got off the gig at 5, drove to New York to go watch a rap battle. Stayed up, watched the rap battle. I was taking Adderall then, and then drove back to Chicago over the weekend. I was at flights the whole
Oh
from
my
Friday to
God.
Monday. Out 8 p.m.
How long is that drive from New York to
Chicago? That shit was like 10 hours.
really? I thought it would have
Yeah.
been longer than that. Because from Atlanta to New York is like 14 hours.
Maybe it was 14. I kind of was in the
Okay.
zone. I don't remember,
Nah,
but it wasn't that
I don't
long.
think it was that far because like Ohio, like going through Ohio is a much shorter trip because to get from where I live in Virginia all the way up to New York, that's like 6 hours.
Mhm.
And Atlanta is like 8 hours. So that's
Mhm.
14-hour trip to go all the way up to New York, and it ain't
Mhm.
worth it. It ain't.
Yeah, I hate that ride. I can't do it. I'm flying from now on unless I absolutely have to drive for some reason.
All right, beautiful people. Let's talk about the divide in the Black community. Y'all seen it? We seen it. And this came up because in the in the so we're gonna talk about this issue, like the icebreaker, so to speak. But the whole point in the conversation is we can't even have a conversation with each other properly, effectively. And that's half of the problem. Okay. So there's a divide. I mean, you're coming in with all this hostility and you cannot even get anything accomplished because there's such a divide. And that's on more than one level. We'll talk about that. Okay. But the first one is when I was on the Lapeef group chat, a guy made a blanket statement. He just said, why do women, maybe I should get the question down together. Y'all tell me, let me pull the question up, okay? I meant to send this to JR, but I did not. My apologies. My apologies. I know y'all like, man, she can sing.
Never crossed my mind.
I sound okay. Who wants to? That wasn't me singing for real. Okay, so the question is, why do so I think even to say, why does society have a problem with telling women the truth? First of all, do you guys think that society has a problem with telling women the truth?
I think if there's financial gain, yes.
I think overall, I think overall, yes.
But why do you guys think that? And my question is, truths. What we're getting to the truth. So what? So one, do you think that society has a problem with telling the truth? Why? And then I want to ask, well, what are the truths?
Personally, I think that it's women's buying power and the ability to dox. Basically, they women will dox you, put all of your information out, get you fired if you make one statement that they as a whole don't agree with. So overall, to basically protect yourself, you don't really say anything to women. You can't talk about weight. You can't talk about looks. You can't talk about sexuality and be honest to them about the way, the way they are. And I think that there's really and truly a lack of accountability from most women, not all women, most women.
Okay. What else? Anything?
Well, I think that sometimes when it comes to telling women the quote unquote truth, I think that so many people have lied to women that when you tell the truth, you become the scapegoat because you are bringing something that's different than what they've been told. And then also your perspective can be limited as well. And You know, if you have a limited perspective and then somebody brings a much broader perspective, they're like, well, that's not my experience. But to get an actual wider perspective, you have to look beyond your experience and see the other perspectives to kind of put all the perspectives together to actually get a much wider picture. And I think I agree with AP that women spend a lot of money on stuff just like men, but they seem to be a little bit more influenced in the market. So you can tell women that, you know, hey, buy this makeup, you know, buy this shirt, buy this thing, you know, you're going to be looking cool, you're going to be looking great, this, that, and the third. And like women will buy and buy and buy. And like, but if you tell the women like, the truth, sometimes they won't give you what you want from them. A lot of men want sex from women, and sometimes when you tell the women the truth, sometimes you might not get what you want. And if advertisers want to make more money, they found that when you don't tell women, you tell women certain things, they're more inclined to spend more money. So there's an incentive to not tell women the truth.
And
See,
I also want to add one thing real quick. Women are also hypocrites. It's funny to me. So imagine they say Lizzo is beautiful, but if you turn around and you say you look like Lizzo, suddenly that's an insult. That shit is funny to me.
I don't think Lizzo is ugly though. What are y'all trying? I think it's Lizzo's face is exceptional.
Lies.
No. So I listen. Do I think that she's the ideal way? Absolutely. That's what I said. I said her face.
So if we saying your face and Lizzo's face are very similar, you would take that as a compliment?
You think? Listen. So let me ask you a question. You don't think Lizzo is attractive? Her face.
No.
Maybe if she were to lose weight, we'd probably have a different
I gotta
perspective.
pull her up and see because I don't
think that I don't agree with her body size, but her face. I think that she has a pretty face.
But her body size adds fat to her face, and it makes her look different.
So let me ask y'all a question. I think that this is where the line comes, right? It's almost like going to a fitness instructor who is not in shape themselves. And so when women, the problem is this. I think that women know when they're overweight. They do. Women know we're not stupid. Sorry, that's my sister. We're not I think women are not clueless to these things. They go to the doctor. They know these things. When you're overweight, you know you're overweight. You feel me? But it's like, how do I look at somebody? Like if I'm in school and I have failing grades, how do I look at somebody and insult them for having failing grades, and I too have failing grades? You know, it's almost like the audacity. Like, have you looked in the mirror? You feel what I'm saying? And so I think that that's the problem, because when sometimes it's the place in which you're coming from. Like, people can construct most people. Now, I do know that there are women who just don't care, but most people, if you come and you talk to them because it's a genuine concern, it's not an insult. It's like, hey, I have some concerns. You know, that if you approach it in that way, I don't think it would be taken back. But when I see men on here like, oh, you obese, you over 300, I'm like, sir, have you jumped on the scale lately? You know, like heart attacks are not gender. They don't prefer one gender over another one. That you can have a heart attack if you're obese, period, like whether you're a man or a female. So we're really talking about health here. We should both want to strive to be healthy for each other, not just one because it's more physically you look better to me because I like attractiveness. Okay. But if you want to tackle health, that's on both parties. That's just not on one. That's on both. So it's almost like, it's like, who would you take advice from? Would you go get advice about money from a nigga who broke? I'm sorry, I said the N word. My apologies.
That was a filibuster. Definitely. You asked us, do we find her attractive? We all said no, and then you went off on
You
the
didn't
tangent.
think she was attractive? You don't think she's attractive? I think she's a cute woman.
I just look. She does have a pretty face. I do think that her face, yeah. I imagine that if she
I did not. Chicago, I told you I'm not getting that detector fix. That is my alarm system's detector. And that thing came with a default. I have y'all, I'm gonna show y'all this. We're gonna have mistaken. I'm gonna show you this.
But what I was gonna say, I think
I'm looking at it and I don't see it. I really don't see what you're saying.
I think she's average looking. I definitely think that she's average looking. She has an average looking face. I wouldn't say that she's ugly by any means.
Look at these. Do you know how much these batteries cost? These little short, little stubby batteries? A lot. One battery is $23. I have tried multiple. And that stupid shit. I think they're just trying to make me buy another one. I'm just not doing it. That's how they get you.
But what I was gonna say, I think there's a difference between the truth and your truth. I think a lot of times in these conversations that we have, that men and women both, but since we were initially talking about men, is that I think they tell you their truth as opposed to the truth being what it really is. That doesn't mean that it's going to change based on who says it. You know what I'm saying? Also, I do think that when we're talking about being lied to, I think if we're getting our information from the media in general, I think we're all being lied to across the board. Women are being lied to, of course, because there's a market, there's a certain aspect of, I'm going to say this, so there's some kind of benefit. But I also think that happens with men too. Like a lot of times men will be in these spaces and they'll talk about how they can be 70 years old and pull a 19-year-old and she really loves them. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you're like, okay, so I think people do lie to themselves and then find a group that's going to reinforce that lie. And then it becomes truth to that group.
And let me tell you, and I hate to, and when we're talking about women, I don't want it to be like, okay, we asked about women and now we're talking about men. But I need you to understand why the women don't take this criticism from you. If you don't walk the walk, why would you take advice from somebody who's not even doing it themselves? Would you want me to be a 10 and you sit here being a 3? Like, come on, what are we doing here? Because if I become a 10, 3s ain't gonna get no. It's like, so it's okay. And then there's another point I want to make when it comes to body positivity. Okay, it's almost like
we be lying.
Same, huh?
I said that whole body positivity thing. Yeah, I think is a lie.
It's a lie because I see more people with their stomachs, especially these teenagers. They wear these little midriffs to school, and in their stomach, they can't even see their belt buckle, and it's like,
and they have a belly ring on it, and you can't.
And the belly ring is like trying to stay in place, but it's a struggle every day. But what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to body positivity, we should always try to be healthier individuals, correct? However, they want people to feel good. And it's kind of like when we talk about incels. People want incels to feel better about, themselves, get a woman, right? Or when we talk about, let's just say, if I say students, this kid, he a little, but I'm going to speak life into him. Like, you can do it, baby. You speak because you want them to feel good about themselves. And sometimes when a person looks in the mirror, dang, what's going on?
They're mirror?
Okay, I'm like, why couldn't that come out right? That was weird.
Your brain don't like what you're saying right now.
Listen, when you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, that reflects. So people are trying to get like, hey, start liking what, because this is, I've never seen so many depressed people. This is probably the most depressed generation ever, right? Because social media, all that kind of stuff. Everybody going to see a therapist. It's so many things. People, they're just very depressed. What's that drug they give you when you're depressed that everybody's taking?
Prozac, Zoloft,
whatever. That's how we're moving, right? So if you can speak into that person, be like, no, that's not you. To give them a little bit of pump, a little bit of before they, it's kind of like that man who want to jump, and you just like, no, you can be all you can be. Like, don't do that. It's like, does that make sense? You gotta speak positive into people, because guess what? She's not gonna. You can be like, lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. It could be a health issue why she can't lose weight. It could be a ton of other things. That person know they big. The people on 600 pounds know they big. They can't move. They can't get out of bed.
Well, I think that's the bigger question. What do you? Okay, so when you tell the truth to somebody, what are you getting out of it? What is your intent? And I think that's really the bigger issue. What is your intent on telling? Now, I can understand a loved one where you have a relationship with, you're concerned about them, whatever. But what is your intent in telling the person the truth if it's not going to impact you in any way and they don't have a relationship with you where it would matter to them? And I think that's where,
especially when it comes to being fat, because
right.
how does her fat hurt you?
Right. Other than you just wanting to call it out for the sake of just like what?
Because y'all both eating burgers and it's killing both of you. You may be a slimmer version, but it's killing both of you. If you see what I'm saying? Like,
I think that's all. That's the bigger issue, is that a lot of times we are trying to tell the truth with the wrong intent. Is to trying to tell the truth because I want to break them down off their high horse. I want to tell the truth because they're delusional. They ain't that cute. They think they are 8, but they really are 3. Like, what is the point in that? Like, how does that impact your life in any way?
I think make you feel better. You a 3, tell the girl you a 3, like telling the other person, nigga, you ain't.
So
like,
I could agree with y'all, but y'all specifically asked us a question about Lizzo. We gave you a direct, truthful answer.
We're not talking about Lizzo. We're talking about in general when it comes to, you're saying, when the question was, what are women being lied to about? Because the scale don't lie. When a woman jump on the scale, she knows she getting big. When she see numbers that she know it. A fact is a fact is a fact.
So even though she know it, why does she still ask me, does she look fat?
Right.
Because being fat and looking fat is 2 different things.
Look, is she really asking you that?
Yeah.
No, she not.
Yes.
Why
yes,
she not?
women do.
If a woman is already, if a woman is already like, and I don't know Lizzo, but Lizzo,
you're not going to use names, but if a girl goes 600
like,
pounds and she asks you is she fat,
she's
that's
not going to ask you that. Now, what she might say is, do I look cute? Do I look nice? Right? She's not going to say, do I look fat, because she's aware of her weight. So women who are aware of their weight, and most women are, we are aware. There's no way we can't be. We can't. So we're reminded every day. Like, so we know when we're overweight or what have you. What 9 times out of 10, they're asking, do I look okay? Do I look good? They're not
the wrong word.
Do I look fat? They're not.
Go ahead, Marky Mark.
When people be like, I understand what you're saying about people saying stuff just because they want to get their hurt off, or they want their opportunity to try and demean somebody or say that. That's one thing that does occur. Now, the main people who try and send like shots at people have a real issue with the way that I talk, and I'll tell women the truth. It's just in a way that is not to offend them, and it's actually here to derive this information from. So yeah, like, because I wouldn't hesitate to tell Lizzo that if I was dating her, like, yeah, We gotta do some things to get your weight under control. It's not really my ideal thing. I'm not really turned on by that. As opposed to,
that's an honest
you fat
answer.
as hell. Yeah, like I'm not doing it. Damn, you fat as hell. And then somebody had come up behind me and be like, you never tell women the truth. I'm like, bro, I just told her that I wasn't attracted to that. I don't get how you is deriving and I'm lying to her by me saying it like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you're going to a certain woman and you're saying, well, and you're trying to court this woman, you're saying, I'm not attracted to that. I think that's an honest conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because if I like you, you like me, and there are things I need to work on, I'm interested in knowing how you feel. And you say it just like that. You put it on me. I'm telling you what I like. I guess it's up to you to change it, but I'm telling you what I like. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is, and I think the honesty comes with that ain't even healthy. Now you're talking about health, but you're not healthy. When you say something like, I'm not attracted to, when you talk to a certain person who you are trying to date, not a chick you don't even know, then I think that's cool.
Yeah, here's the pushback. Just because somebody is something does not mean they can't point out that somebody else is doing the same thing. I'm a fat person, right? I can see another person is fat.
That's not what we're saying. We're saying when
that is a version of what you're saying. You're basically saying that they can't hold
clarify. Let me clarify.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yes, if you fat, you can clearly see that other people fat. But the problem is going to be when you try to call that person out and be like, "Man, you fat. You need to lose weight." And nigga, you fat too. Why are you even having this conversation with me?
Go look in the mirror.
Because y'all both need to lose weight. That's why.
Right? No, we both.
So we need to lose weight. Not
exactly.
You.
So I'm talking to you because you need to lose weight, and I'm talking to myself because I need to lose weight. So we need to lose weight together.
So that's what she's saying. That's the point right there. If you're in that situation, then that's the conversation that needs to be had. We're both overweight. We need to lose weight together. Not, man, you fat. You need to lose weight. There's a difference.
Well, also, here's another difference. If you want to increase your chance, typically as a woman, you might have a better chance of getting to some of the guys that you want by dropping some of the weight. Some, right? And then also, just because I'm saying, hey, you look big, right? And I think you might need to lose some weight. Right? Cool, whatever. You may know that, you may not. But just because I'm critiquing you about something that I think you should do, that doesn't mean that with the success or the things that I'm getting, I'm required to do the same thing. I may be getting all that I want as a big guy. It's winter season. Cuddle season is in. The big guys is in. So I gotta right now.
Now versus on the flip side, it can be cold, cuddled up next to me. I take a fist.
Because you ain't got no body fat on you, Mark. It's just freezing in Chicago.
I'll take a fist to that. It's cold out here.
So I'm just saying, just because you have something that I'm saying, hey, you might want to lose a little bit of weight. That doesn't mean that because I'm critiquing you on this thing that I may also need. That doesn't mean that I have the same requirement to make those changes because it's not affecting me the same way that it's affecting you based upon the results that you're looking for.
But it is.
I'm just saying based upon the results that you're looking for. When you're talking about from a scientific health perspective, yes, for sure. I got a thing in the back chat that this guy is getting fried for 4 minutes in a battle rap, but he's basically saying a bunch of fat jokes to this fat guy. But the way that he's saying it, he's actually bringing attention to you being big don't actually just affect you. It affects all of us around you.
How?
For instance, if you're on a plane, right, and you got a big person on a plane, that person has to get 2 seats, right? A really big person. It does affect me. If I'm standing next to him and he's got his arm fat over my freaking seat and I'm trying to chill and I'm trying to have a good time on my flight to Acapulco, you know what I'm saying? Like, that affects me.
My point being is, he has 2 seats, that means
How
he's
dare you,
able,
Shan, use him as a pillow?
And if
he's
he doesn't get
able.
2 seats, mistaken, if he doesn't get 2 seats and he just squeezing that into 1 seat
Oh, now that's
and
different.
it's going
But
over
he
that's
got
you,
2
different.
seats and he big and he like a
They
little
require
cushion
you to get
pillow.
2 seats if you're a certain, like if you're overweight, like if you're like really overweight, you can't fit in 1 seat. They'll require you to purchase two seats. But I
I
agree
have a
with
question
you.
like,
though.
and that hat
No,
was
I do
skewing
agree
up.
with you that
I
the
agree what
weight
he's
thing can
saying.
affect other people. But well, no, I'm not gonna say but. Being overweight can affect other people in your life, especially if they do care about you, because then the concern becomes the health. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, though, being overweight doesn't affect you to the same degree that it affects the person who's overweight.
So I have a question. How is you telling a woman she overweight because it's not attractive any different from her being like, being broke is not attractive? Get your money up. How is that
If
any different?
If she met me broke, then if I met
Well,
her
you
fat,
met her fat. Like, what?
yeah.
What?
No, I'm
What
saying
is this double standard?
if she met me rich and I went broke, then she might have an argument. If she met me fat, I mean, in shape, if I met her in shape and she got fat, then I might have an argument because you
Well, what if she
fundamentally
has your
changed the person that I was
kids?
attracted to.
But what if she has your
Huh?
kids? That's why she got fat.
I mean, there's exceptions to stuff, but realistically, you would need to make some steps towards fixing that, though. Like if you blew up because of the kids, hey, let's get in the gym and let's work on this and XYZ. You see, what y'all don't understand about men is our dick is not permanently in a hard position. It has to get there. And attraction is required in order for that to happen. And if we're not attracted, then we can't get there. So you have fundamentally changed the dynamics of the relationship because we can't even have sex with you because we're not attracted. That's
Well, guess
not fair.
what?
Marcus,
Look at this
I
now.
can't agree with you on that, bro.
She can't
You
have
got it.
sex with you when the bills, when the lights is off. When you women
She's
do not
stressing,
like to
man.
have
That's where I'm
sex.
coming from.
That's not
Men
true.
like
She
to have
has
sex
sex
when
with
they're
the lights off
stressed.
all the
Women
time.
don't
What
like
do
to
you
have sex when
mean?
they're stressed. When the lights
Yep.
is off and y'all struggling to pay them bills.
Hey, baby,
You
I
know
got
what
this
it
car.
is,
It got lights in
Marcus?
there.
It's something that you said. A lot of times, what happens with men, especially if y'all are talking about being leaders, a lot of times it's a mandate or a dictate about something. Like, man, you fat, you need to lose weight. Even if he doesn't say it like that, but I'm just saying it like that for, all intents and purposes of what we're talking about, as opposed to let's do this together. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of times women have an issue because certain things are difficult. And I'm not saying life is easy, but it is easier when you have a partner to share in that with you. And I can even speak from like just personal experience where there are times where I'm trying to lose weight and it makes it easier when everybody's on the same page in the house. But when I was trying to lose weight and the kids were here and they're like, oh, I want this snack or that snack. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to get it. I'm going to buy these. These are healthier, things like that. But then they'll go and use their own money and bring the snacks in the house. And now I'm tempted, and I'm trying to lose weight versus when everybody's on the same page and they're like, we need to eat healthier. When everybody's on the same page, everybody does better. And I think a lot of times what happens is only one person trying to work at it without the support and help of everybody else. It's like,
and let me just say this.
I was with you, Marcus, and I needed to lose weight and you didn't. And you like, man, I love me some Haagen-Dazs, and you're still getting Haagen-Dazs. That's something that we used to sit, chill, and watch TV together while we, Netflixing and whatever, and chilling, we eating ice cream. You still doing that. And I'm like, I can't. That's not helping me. That's not being supportive.
Let me just state this real fast.
I agree.
Give me 2 seconds. Let me just state this real fast. Because people, when it comes to men want women to be disciplined. Y'all know food is like a drug to anybody, whether you're slim or not. People like to eat. That's why they want their women to cook, all that kind of stuff. Just that same discipline, you want that woman to not put that food in her mouth, have the same one keeping that penis in your pants. How about that? Discipline that. Okay? Just like she got an urge to want to eat, you got an urge to want to have sex, put that penis in your pants. Use that same discipline.
Are you saying that if he get fat, then he should cheat?
Huh?
Are you saying that if she get fat, he should cheat? Is that what you just said?
No, what I'm saying to you is if we're going to use saying, because somebody in the chat said when Mistaken was talking about food, she should just have discipline. The food is in your face, discipline to not eat the food. Okay, that cooch in your face, discipline. It's not your wife. Walk away, discipline. The same discipline.
Yeah, that's what he said. Thank you.
Thanks for the clarification.
Okay, so
Devil joiners in your face, discipline.
so first I got a point of contention with Marcus. Marcus, you know good and damn well we don't need to be attracted to a female to smash. Like, let's go ahead and clear that up.
To smash
repeatedly.
To smash not one time, but to smash consistently. You don't think you need to be attracted?
Not really.
Not one time, but consistently.
I mean,
consistently.
To call her my girl, yes. To smash, but this, I'm bringing this to a full point though. To smash, I could smash you 1,000,000 times and not be attracted to you. It's just because you're there and available, which goes to the problem as to why we can't actually have the dialogue with females and be completely honest, because we have allowed women to overvalue themselves, and then they say comparative things like,
how do you overvalue yourself though?
Wait, I'm getting there.
Mr. BX87, you're right, because I still be saying that.
But go ahead. AP, sorry, I apologize.
Overvalue themselves in the dating market.
Okay.
Because they feel like they can get a man to smash them, which we do need to, and this is going to go back to your point, Shan. We do need to exercise a level of, I don't like the word discipline, but that's the best word that fits right now. Exercise a level of discipline with our manhoods, and not just smash anything. We need to really evaluate the way we move and make the adjustments and stop messing with these women that we aren't attracted to. Then when they stop getting attention, they will make the adjustment to change what it is about themselves to make themselves more attractive to men. But right now, we out here just busting down whatever we want to bust down. Thus, women can have this inflated sense of self in the dating market because Nick Cannon bust them down, or Drake, or whoever, Future, or whoever these, the guys are, just because they can. That, like, we need to stop doing that. And I think honestly that starts, again, y'all already know how I feel. I think that starts with men. And then we can have the honest dialogues. The last point I want to make, most of the time, men won't call a woman ugly or fat unwarranted, meaning that a woman would typically have to ask or insult us in order for them to get that response from us, because we, on the whole, we don't want to be mean and hateful. So we're not going to really tell you that you need to lose weight or that you're a one on the pretty scale. We just simply should ignore you.
All right. So what I do, I actually do say probably unwarranted. Hey, we need to work on some things. Like I'll look at the verbiage we, but if you start saying
that to, Marcus?
Yeah, but are you saying that to your woman, or are you saying that to a random?
That's what
No,
I'm
not
saying.
no random person. Look, I'm
That's
not one of
that's
the
the
people
point I made.
who be talking to random people and telling them what they need to do. That shit is crazy to me. Because you can't that you got no incentives, no leverage, and no way of holding anybody accountable. It's almost impossible to hold somebody accountable on the internet. This shit is
So
that's not
if,
my
so so if we do it to somebody random, unwarranted, then we're just being mean. And I don't think on the
yeah.
whole we're being mean. We're not going to bring that up unless it's brought up. And if it's somebody in our orbit, hopefully we facilitated the relationship in such a way we can have honest dialogue.
Yeah, I would think.
I think it comes from just the space of, the question is, why don't women handle the truth? And I think that people are trying to so my response to them was, well, what truth are you talking about? Because people have different truths, right? And he was like, well, the truth is the truth. Well, what is the truth? Like unless I know the question, what we're talking about, it's hard to say what that truth is. You know what I'm saying? Because there are different people have different truths. They just do. What may be true for me may be different for Marky Mark. What and it goes so because I was always a scale. One person may consider you thick, another person may say, "Oh, she fat." So
It's a lot of zealots
many
online.
variables.
There's a lot of zealots online who take subjective things and turn them into ultimate truths and hold people to their standard. It is a lot of that going on. Where it's like subjections cannot be ultimate truths, but they are arguing like that. I agree with that.
And because somebody said, well, the truth is the truth. And I like to always go back to the money thing, because that's where that's what the thing that pushes the button for women, the opposite is money for men. Okay. It's the exact same way as a woman like, oh, you broke. You be like, well, 40, that's how much average people get paid. That doesn't take away the truth that you're going to be struggling. Like, a truth is a truth. But you're right. If the average person is getting paid this, you are average. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't
like being lied to too, Shan. Like you said about the money, but even when it comes to sex, like you ask a lot of guys, they be, and this is just based on the stats though, they be thinking they throwing it down because them women be lying. Yeah. They be lying. Yeah. they be lying.
I wish women would just stop, just like y'all be lying. I just wish women would just for one day just really stop lying. Honest. For 1 week. Just stop lying. Really and just put things in perspective.
Men that they were with and just be like, nigga, that was whack.
And she probably pat herself on the back for the theatrical performance she just put on last week.
I think you should be honest. If you having trouble having an orgasm and you never had one before, you need to talk to that person so you can figure out how you can get there. I think you cheated.
I agree, but a lot of women won't, like, looking at the stats. Obviously, a lot of women are not doing that. And these same men are walking around thinking that they are doing their thing, and the women are talking about them behind their back. And so men like being lied to too.
No, see, I don't.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
I don't at all. And ironically, we're talking about this. What I do, especially after the first, second, third encounter, I will ask a woman, what would you like to change? What would you like different? What pleasures you? Because I know at the end of the day, I'm busting a nut. Period. At the end of it, I'm busting a nut. So my objective is to always try to get a woman there. And if what I'm doing isn't getting her there, hey, what can I do to help you get there? And we need to be open and have those conversations.
And if you refuse to explain that, then that would be your fault at them. If he come to you honestly and try and get answers to like, all right, what's wrong? What you need?
I agree.
How can you help?
I agree with that, Marky Mark. I agree with that wholeheartedly. You're absolutely. I don't even know how we got on this subject, but I agree with you wholeheartedly.
No, that was I was saying opposite in terms of men like being lied to. I don't know.
Go ahead.
That's where that was coming from. I brought that in here because that was another example about how men and women lie to each other, basically. And do you think it's right? No, but I do think there's a approach in which you do that. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, is that there's, oh, I'm just blunt, just take it the way that it is. No, there is a way that you communicate, especially if you want results. There is a way that you communicate certain things about your likes and dislikes when you're dealing with people, not just your partner, just treating people nicely. You know what I'm saying? We've lost the art of being nice and wrap it up in a, well, if they can't take it, that's on them. You know, that kind of stuff. And no, you have to be considerate in the way, in your approach, in the way that you communicate to people, especially if you're looking for results.
And
I
then
100%.
too, I think the importance is, like somebody mentioned ahead, what are you trying to gain out of it? Are you trying to just kill this person's self-esteem? Like, what is it? What are you trying to gain out of telling this person this, right? If it is your mate and you're trying to have a constructive criticism towards your mate, I get it. But if it's a person you don't know like that, and you feel the need to tell a person how you feel about them, I'm like, you need to be taking that energy and putting it somewhere else on yourself. Like, you're doing way too much. Like, you can't control nobody else's life. All you can do is control your life. What's good for you, the only person you can control is you. It's the same thing about when y'all don't want to go to the hood and tell them to put the pants up. You don't want to go to the hood, but like, oh, put it. It's the same thing.
Okay, so I to mistaken statement, I agree with that. It's about what you want, right? What's the end result? I'll be saying this all day, and you know what's the craziest part to me?
What?
Me saying, hey, you need to deliver a message X, Y, and Z way in order to get it across to the person results in the people I'm saying that to saying negative attempted ad hominems. I'm like, I know for a fact, if you take me trying to tell you that, hey, you should use this method to speak to somebody so they can interpret what you're saying, you hear that and lash out at me, I know you lashed out at every fucking body. It don't make no sense. That's like somebody saying, have a good day. What you mean, have a good day? Good, all days are good. Like, damn, bro, this relax, chill, man.
So what are other truths? We talked about that. What are some more truths that you're saying that women don't want to hear?
I think I know one that they were saying before, and I'm starting to see it. I have to admit, like the attitude.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Listen,
Yeah.
y'all know people who see the attitude. We see it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We be wanting to check her too.
Mm-hmm.
Just grab the attitude out of your.
There's three things I want to try to address. Number one, Marcus, with the whole, you got to be attracted to her in order for you to have sex with her, or before you get the gun to shoot. We have a lot of drugs out here in this world. You know what I'm saying? We can get it up, even if we're not attracted. To AP, two things I say to AP, but really just one. Do you think that temperance is a better terminology to use than discipline? They kind of both relatively mean the same thing. But essentially we're arguing, or some people are arguing, that we should have more self-restraint, which in reality, the best restraint is to just not be in the area to set yourself up for that. But more
I
times
agree.
than not, we're listen, I always say, listen, everybody want to be trees. I'm a twig. It don't take much for me to break. So because of that, I know how to, remove myself from the situation. And I don't have discipline like what women are like, oh, you got to have big discipline. No, I just, hey, this is a bad situation I'm about to put myself in. And if I do it, it is what it is. If I don't do it, it's because I say, you know what, I'm getting up out of here. That's it.
HD, you want to really have to use drugs to get your meat hard? No,
I don't need to use drugs. I'm just saying that it's available, so that even though you may not be physically attracted to her at this present point in time, there's some things that will not only affect your heart but also affect your pain for you to operate. I was just being.
And let's just be real. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Some of the most successful couples, the woman don't be in shape, and he be loving her. He don't care. He like, that's my boo.
That's because that's what he
Love
got.
of my life.
He's just like, listen, I'm gonna work with the one that works with me, but can I address one thing? That AP said, you know what I'm saying? He said that he likes to basically get a dick report from the lady that he's dealing with, right? You know, hey, how's this thing going? You know, is this thing going in the right direction? Hey, listen, I'm all about having real conversations with people, you know, and you know, one thing I realized in my short time of living, sometimes you just got to go balls deep, whether it's just in the conversation or in the sexual exchange. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta do some things, you know what I'm saying, in order for you to, you know. Now, granted, she lied to you, she hurt herself, but you know, most of the time, I think that if guys would like actually take the time to try to uh pay attention to the things that women can't always fake. There's certain things that women can't fake during sex. There's a lot that they can because women are trained
I
to
don't think
lie and do things. But more times than not, there are certain things that you can't really fake. And if you're paying attention to how she responds to certain things, you can make the adjustment. And of course, if
Well, see the problem though, a lot of men don't know when women are faking because they think they know women's bodies. And I'm gonna be honest, I have watched like videos and stuff about like research that they've done. I've watched shows that talk about this, is that a lot of times men are not aware of the makeup of a woman's body and how it operates. And honestly, I can't even fault y'all because there are a lot of women who don't even know their own bodies the way that they should. So if you don't really know your own body and you're trying to coach somebody who, you know, to know your body, whatever, I can see where that would be a mismatch. But a lot of times, and y'all can say, just say that y'all don't understand because y'all are not women. But a lot of times, I think socially women are conditioned to be the pleaser and not necessarily be the one to speak up about what she needs to be pleased. So you have a lot of women that are in relationships that won't speak up because they don't feel like that they are supposed to.
Do you think women get pleasure out of just pleasing though? Like, do they
Yeah,
can they
of
derive
course.
pleasure?
For
Some,
sure.
I'm not.
So look, so listen, yes,
Yeah.
they do. They do.
That,
Marcus.
It gotta
how
They
be
do,
good
Marcus.
was
That's
it
why they keep
taken?
look, Marcus. They got that's why
No,
they keep
you was
going on and
doing
on and
so
on.
good.
that shit gotta be
No,
reciprocal. Sorry.
no,
Let me
she
let
was so
me
close. She was the real MVP for like 5 minutes.
My bad.
the research shows it, because if they keep having it and they're not, and they're saying 8% of women are not having these things and they keep having sex, something is pleasurable after the situation. And I think that's what it is. They want to
Women have a tendency to be able to find pleasure in other things. Sometimes it's just the connection. You know what I'm saying? The closeness, knowing that the other person is feeling good and you're the one responsible for that. Women can gain pleasure from those things.
They can. So what was the thing? It was something you brought up before HG took it to back to the other subject. What did you just say before HG changed the subject, mistaken?
What did I do? What?
You brought up another point and I can't remember what it was. You said, I said, what's another truth? And you brought up a truth.
Oh, about women's attitudes.
Let's have a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not, because we talk about this too much.
Let's have a conversation. Well, me and Mistaken can have this conversation. We can leave you guys out of it. Ladies, my black, beautiful queens, as you like to call yourselves, your attitude funky. It's nasty. Nobody wants to be around you. I don't even want to be like, I wish we could come up with a different name for you so we won't all be clumped together. Like your attitude is, it's to the point where I'm just like, it's horrible. Mm-hmm. And then I saw a video and I wish I would have uploaded it today. Stay off the internet for likes, because it's just coming out your mouth. It's not helping this community at all. Keep that shit to yourself. Like do you need attention that much that you get on the internet and just set us back like 15,000 years? Like please put the camera away. If you feel your need to say something stupid, something that is gonna set us all back, like make the whole community look ignorant, just don't say nothing at all. Just step away from the computer, time out, rethink it. Don't let it come out your mouth. It's the like is not even that important. Are you in need of attention that much? Like, please don't.
Now, do you think, because I was actually having a conversation with one of my coworkers, and one of the things was about, again, attitude. And I was asking, do you think that sometimes the attitude thing are given to Black women as opposed to it just being women in general, not understanding that Black women are pinpointed when they display attitude. But I personally believe that attitude is a woman's issue, like not just a Black woman's issue. Women get attitudes in general.
So I think it goes back to you're right. I think that some women can just give attitude for no reason at all. We do a little bit more of that, and maybe because I'm around more Black people than normal, other races of women. But I think that too, because of the skin we're in, we can't walk like everybody else. We can't. We would like to, but we just can't. It is no different from, because our men are dark, they look like they're just automatically put in this aggression kind of category just because of the skin that they're in. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing for women. Like you popping off at the mouth is going to look totally different from Karen popping off at the mouth, because they may find you to be a threat. Like, oh, she's, out. And Karen's just like, oh, she's just a little.
And the reason I say that is because one of the people that I was talking to in terms of a coworker, one of them is white. And we were talking about, well, he's like divorced now, but that the same things that in these spaces that Black men complain about Black women, that I'm finding that white men are complaining about the same thing with their women. So that's why I'm like, is it really a Black white thing, or is it just a woman man thing, not really knowing how to communicate well, or is it a communication thing? I think sometimes we slap the color thing on certain issues when it may not necessarily be that. Now,
I think Black women,
you're going to see the attitude more, of course, because you're around more Black women. You know what I'm saying? Whereas you can be in another group and you can see the attitude as well. But I think a lot of times we're put on front street with ours. And I'm not saying don't get me wrong, I'm not saying we don't have an attitude, but I think it's more of a woman thing as opposed to a Black woman thing.
Do y'all think that?
You said what now?
Do y'all think that the women from other cultures who are emulating the attitude appear to act and sound like Black women?
No. I think that it doesn't sound the same. And I think that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't sound the same. It's something about us. We can hit very low below. We can hit below the belt. Like, you make a Black woman mad.
Well, I don't think that's attitude. That's something totally different.
Okay. But yeah. I think that they wrap it all in one. You know what I'm saying? Because and even if we stick just on attitude, we've seen it just walking around like, are you even approachable? Like, hi. I can say that if I go, and maybe because I'm Black, if I go to a woman of another race, usually it's like, hi, how you know? You go to a Black, I've seen more Black women who I found to be unapproachable. Now, once I say something and maybe I give a compliment, I knock the barrier down. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, and it's just like that. But how many people we've been around, even in friend cliques, and they bring the new friend and you like, she a little.
Yeah, and that's what I said. I think that's a girl thing. Like girls can be nasty. Like you can look at a chick and be like, it's just something about her I don't like. And you're like, you don't even know her. Like what, you know? So I think that is a girl thing. I've been in situations where it wasn't just black girls. That's why I'm saying I don't know. I don't really, it hasn't come to my mind whether
It just looks different.
Or if it's a female thing.
Yeah, you're right. Because it just looks different. I mean, think about it. Even when you talk about high school, college, the mean girl, you know what I'm saying? Like we think we're bad. If you ever been to a white preppy school, they can be like to each other. You know what I'm saying? But we're not in that clique, so we don't judge them like that because we don't know. But I was the only black on the cheerleading squad at one time, and they can come for each other, and they do not.
Do y'all think
you are
women?
outcasts, you are. If you're on the outskirts, you gonna know it.
Do y'all think women? Do y'all think women who get consistent? Do y'all think women who get consistent sex in a relationship usually have bad attitudes?
No.
You said what?
No.
Okay.
Of course.
You think women who get consistent sex in a relationship are usually having attitudes?
No.
I think that.
That's because
I think that attitude. No, I think that
system it makes you happy.
It does.
That's what
I think that,
do.
but I don't think that that's the truth. I think that women who have less stress in their life are happier. You understand what I'm saying? Like, because even if she's in the household and she's being nice, people sometimes they wear what they're going through on themselves out in the real world, and you don't even tap into that unless you have a real conversation with them and be like, I'm just having a bad day. Because they wear it. Like if she's stressed out, women don't do well with stress, first and foremost. And sometimes they lash out because it's built in, like they're just, and then it just comes out at bad time. They wear it. They don't know how to camouflage it, so to speak. So I don't think that it has anything to do with. Now I would say if she is having more sex, it's probably because she's less stressed. Because, like I said, women don't like to have sex when they're stressed. But so they kind of both things go hand in hand.
Stress you though.
Well, it depends on what you're stressed about.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your job stressed you out, for sure. Mm-hmm. But he stressed you out.
Nah. Now, I agree 100% that it's more so a woman thing. I don't think we look at all women's anger the same, because many men will agree that a Hispanic woman's attitude is bar none. Once she start getting pissed, she's throwing plates, she's doing everything. So we for sure understand that all the other races, all the other races of women can be problematic with their attitude, for sure, without question. It's just not judged the same. Like the reason why the term Karen exists is because of the attitude of white women doing nonsense and everybody looking at it. But I think that part of the reason why I think a lot of men probably hold women's attitude a little bit more, probably
black
because
attitude, are you saying?
Yeah, black women.
One,
a lot of black women look gorgeous, but their attitude make them look ugly. And then also, if you've been dealing with black women your whole life, and then you're older and you're trying to, work with said black woman, not even in a romantic setting, you're trying to just do a job with her. Y'all both on the job, and she got something that has nothing to do with you, and she's giving you all of this attitude and pushback. You're just like, okay, you're not even pleasant to be around. Like, and unfortunately, like I said on the last show that I was on, unfortunately, what black people do and have done, it is the most easily monetizable. So we've seen enough black women being shown in a negative light that we latch on to it, and it just becomes a more prevalent thought of our mind, because it's just like, if you have a Jeep, even though you never had a Jeep, once you get that Jeep, Jeeps are going to start showing up everywhere. If you got a Porsche, you never see no Porsches around. But once you get a Porsche, now Porsches become more prevalent in your mind because you have a selection bias, because your eyes is now attuned to that. So I think that with black women being as beautiful as what they are, and sometimes when a black woman wants to direct her anger towards you, it can feel something kind of rough. I think that's sometimes the reason why we kind of like respond to like a black woman's attitude, because like I know y'all see black women out here. Black women be fine, but they also be having some attitudes that make them look really unattractive.
I agree. Let me. They don't really have good filters. They. I see what you're saying. Let me just say this, especially with people like I don't like when women are mean to people who didn't do anything to them. It's just a general like that's just stupid to me. I never understood it. I don't understand why you just would be mean to somebody who was being nice to you. I don't get that problem. But my question is why. One of the issues is this. What has happened in the past is women with spicy or attitudes are the ones that men go for. Okay. So men were like, oh, she can't be too nice though. You know what I'm saying? Like if she's too nice, no. This is the truth. And because one thing women do, and this is what men need to understand, is women don't listen to what you're saying. They go by what they see you doing. Okay. That's the problem. That's the reason why women keep wearing wigs. That's the reason why women keep getting these BBLs. That's the reason why women do a lot of the things that they do, because they're going off of what they see works in opposed to what you're saying, because there's a conflict there. Okay. So just because you chose peace, y'all all know, like we did before. Remember that one video I told you to do was like, we talked about the video. The guy was talking about the girls he slapping. He's like, you like a bitch to slap you? It's top men who are addicted to toxicity, and it's a lot of them. They are addicted to the chick who's slashing their tires. They are addicted to the chick who gonna pop off of their mouth and go in for them. You know what I'm saying? And women see this and they think that is what they're supposed to be. You understand what I'm saying? While they see the night.
I was going to say, to speak to that, I literally just watched something a few days ago that it was some podcast, and they were talking about that with a therapist. I think it was like Harley Initiated or something. And it was like a therapist, and it was on there. And they were talking about that some men, I guess with all of everybody having trauma and looking at certain things in a way that they perceive love or caring, that was one of those things that they were saying that they did like, that some women did, was the fact that if they saw them talking to another chick or something, and then another chick come up there ready to fight and beat that girl up, that they were like, whoa. But another part of them was kind of like, well, damn, she must really like me. She ready to fight for me. So they were talking about how sometimes the perception of toxic behavior is reinforced because of the fact that men feel validated or love, or that girl really care about them, because if she didn't, she wouldn't be acting like that.
And I think that one of the last videos, I don't know if y'all watched Stefan Speaks, one of the things he brought up, he was like, sometimes the good girl doesn't win over the toxic girl, because in that dude mind, the good girl may be like, she'll take the hit and she won't be combative, whereas the toxic girl's like, but I love you, and he feels like, well, she must really love me because she's trying, and she's, when they just handle things totally different. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of good women who don't, y'all can sit here and say it's not a lot of nice women who don't end up in relationships. There's a lot of toxic women who end up in relationships.
But I noticed the what we were just talking about some men liking that toxicity. I noticed that it really happens more so with younger men. I don't necessarily see it
right, because when they age, they change their mind. Like, dang, I want peace. But how long did it take you to want peace? It took you years of toxicity to figure out, like, dang, I'm 40 now, 40 some years old. I want some peace in my life. Now, this is not, look, just like any other conversation. This is not 100%. You may have always wanted peace in your life. You may have always wanted peace in your life, but the thin line between love and hate was not a Baby Boy is not a fake show. Y'all know it's people out there that like toxic relationships. We've seen it. We don't act like I'm pulling this out.
No, you're not pulling out your ass. I agree that it's a lot of men that do like that stuff because I've heard them say it out their mouth. They get turned on when women act like that. I think they crazy. I think you're literally crazy to want to deal with somebody. Literally, like the definition of crazy to want to have somebody cause chaos and it turn you on, and then be mad talking about how women act. Nigga, no, I don't know how women act like that. That's on you, bro. Because if you seen act like that, you should have been like, all right. You have a nice life, but instead you was like, all right, I'm gonna give you some nice pipe. I don't believe in that. I'm not doing it. I'm not rewarding that type of behavior. I'm going the opposite way. No pass gold, no 200. And maybe that's why I'll be sitting here like, I don't understand why I'll be talking like
and this is the thing. Somebody sit here says wild and crazy females are just for fun, not wifey. But the fact of the matter is wild chicks get married all the time. They do. It's a lot of for fun chicks who are married. I think somebody pointed out, y'all love talking about Debbie Smith. She's married. Y'all love talking about Gabrielle Union. She's married. You know what I'm saying? Y'all love talking about all these toxic women, and guess what? They all be married. Look at that basketball player. He married her. You understand what I'm saying? So it's not the mad thing. And the good girl just sitting there riding your coattail for 10 years, and she ain't never getting a ring. She just riding for you. Oh, I love him, pumping him up and just waiting for that wedding day that it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, but at the same time, just real quick, I'm gonna let you go, HD. But the two people you brought up are both moving towards divorce, if not already divorced.
It doesn't matter.
Hold on. You didn't bring up Grant Hill and his wife, who you never really hear about. You didn't bring up Denzel and his wife, that you never really hear about. These what I've seen, these super feminine women with these men. Those women are still married after all this time. So I understand what you're saying, but the success is in that the type of woman that she is. I mean, they might get married, but how long are they gonna be married?
Now that's true. Now the outcome is very different, and that's something that everybody needs to have a discussion about when they're choosing these people, right? But we're talking about a man marrying you. And for whatever reason, the reason why y'all want these Instagram women to get right, because you feel like that's gonna be more options. She's toxic. She's not an option. If she's showing her body on Instagram, she's telling you off. You better be happy that she's showing you who she is online. Because you could have done a snuck attack. She could have snuck and done it. But she's showing you who she is, and you don't even want to see it. You try to make her something she ain't even who she ain't. Like y'all see here, take her off the no, let her be that. At least you know. Walk away from that. That's not for you. But y'all too busy trying to make her right. That's a problem.
Yeah, I agree. I have no complaints.
Y'all mad at OnlyFans, a forum for being there for women. No, be happy is there. Because now you know what kind of woman you get. You can step away like, oh, you got OnlyFans? Great. Red flag. I dodged the bullet.
Yeah.
I agree.
This is why I say that it is true that men say these things, but oftentimes, like, we don't actually know the weight of what it is that we're signing up for until after you've experienced it for a certain amount of time. Like, when we were younger, a lot of us guys didn't have too much of an issue with the quote unquote spicy woman because, it was fun, it was exciting. But as you continue to get older, you start seeing the effects over time. You signed up for it ignorantly, and you was just like, hell, you were in some ways, in some form, attracted to it because you do know she cares. She has this idea, and she comes after you this way because of how she cares for you. However, she can care differently and articulate herself differently and show her care a little differently. But I think that this is where a lot of us men don't really realize until like after the fact that like You just don't know till like it's already happened. You got hindsight is always 2020, and you just got to realize that you just got to take the L because
You
we
be
met a
knowing.
lot of spicy women that we really
That
like.
spicy was good in the bedroom. You be
Yeah, it
knowing.
was
You ignored it.
fantastic.
You
You know
ignored
what I'm
it.
saying? You done threw her across the wall. You know
You
what I'm saying? You
ignored
done
it.
pulled the hair. You know what I'm saying? You done did handcuffs, tied her up. You done had a great time. But
You
then,
done got blinded.
you know what I'm saying? You done had a great time. But then at 10 o'clock in the afternoon, she's snapping about nothing. And you like, God dang, man. I'm like, listen, that was fun at 2 o'clock this morning. But 10 o'clock when I got to go to work, this is trash. Stop this nonsense. Let me
But-
go enjoy my day.
And this
You
is
know-
another thing. You know, we're having an honest conversation. Why? And you made a good point up. Your point was with men, when they get older, they realize this ain't what we want. Why can't women have that same grace? Maybe she went for the bad boy when she was younger, and y'all were like, "Yeah, shut up. You should know better." You know,
They don't
like
get the
she ain't
blame
young.
She got
because
3
they
kids.
supposed to be smarter.
I was thinking the same thing.
It's like,
Y'all don't get the grace because y'all supposed to be smarter.
no,
And
you're
then
leaders.
also the baggage that comes with some of y'all bad decisions, y'all don't get over it easily.
Look
So then
at who
now we gotta
showed
deal
up,
with it.
honey.
Now
that's
the good guy who you was cool with, but now you want to date and now you want security and protection. You know, you want checking for him. So dudes is spiteful. We gonna look at you and be like, you know, you didn't want me back then. Now all of a sudden you owe me. You're gonna have to pay
Maybe
what
you
you
grew
owe,
into
man.
your looks. Maybe you was ugly and you just look handsome.
That
now.
is besides the fact. You know, the simple fact of the matter is you won't owe me last time, but now you owe me this time. You're gonna have to pay the tax.
Whatever.
You got your Miss Clouds dress on. You came to kill him tonight and pass out gifts.
She came to she
You
came
gotta
to-
say,
You ain't playing. You said,
No, he gonna show it up, baby.
She came out here like
I went to
Santa,
work. I went to
baby.
work like this. I had to,
Yeah.
you know, I had to show out for work. I had to show out for work.
So
When you went to work, were you sending Santa, baby?
No, no, sir. No, sir.
Oh, okay.
No.
You know, you gotta show up next week for our show because we got a poly show because we want to hear your story.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Is it just Friday still?
Yeah.
I got a
Whatever
million
Friday is
questions.
good for you, whatever Friday we can guarantee to have you on, we'll do the poly show.
You let us
Yeah.
know.
So
Okay.
back to the.
So what's next Friday? I need to know what's the date next Friday.
That's Christmas. The
important.
next one, maybe the next one or something.
Okay. Okay.
So back to this.
No,
I think I
next
figured out why.
22nd.
That ain't
I think I
Christmas.
figured.
I mean, so no, meaning the 22nd. I thought Friday was Christmas. That's what I meant. When I'm
No.
saying
Christmas is Monday.
that. Oh, gotcha. Okay, go ahead, Marky Mark. Sorry.
I think I figured out when I was outside and it was a lot of crazy shit going on. And when I came home, I wanted pure peace. And I watched a lot of people with home situation get them killed or put in situations where they end up in jail. And I was like, oh yeah, that's not gonna be me. So instead of them girls was telling on them, they'd get mad, threaten the police on them, all type of, and tell about other stuff they was doing in their life. I'm like, hell no, I never date a girl that even act like that. And because of that, no matter how crazy or toxic the sex might be like that, I'll pass. It's never been worth it. And I think that's why some of the stuff I say sound crazy to people, because I've heard men say, I don't like no pushover woman. I don't like no woman that I could just do what I want to. And specifically in regards to the type of relationship I want and the type of sex that I'm gonna have, it's a domination aspect of it. So that pushback to me is a turnoff. So I think those two things culminate to why I'm not dealing with that shit. It will turn me off. I want complete submission and different type of role playing. And that ain't it for me at all. It's never been. I don't think it ever could be.
Can I ask you a quick question, Marcus? Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
So what about a woman? You can see if we can add some nuance to this. What about a woman giving a difference of an opinion in a tactful way? That's
not a problem. That's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. What I'm talking about is somebody bucking up at you, or somebody that that tries to usurp power or control from you, somebody who tries to dominate you in any way, those things turn me off. And if it turns you on, that's good. Not you specifically, but anybody it turns on, that's for you. But for me, that's a turn off to me. Like I want to have a specific type of sex. I want to be in a specific type of role in a relationship. Anything outside of that can't work for me. I just can't. I know myself. I'm not dealing with that shit. I'm gonna look at you like you crazy and leave. Oh hell no. You got me fucked up, all the way fucked up. That's not what we do here. Yeah, even the foreplay. I can't. I'm not about to play that you hit me, you talk shit to me, and then no. No. I know how I want to go. That ain't it at all.
Okay, I'm gonna give a bit of transparency real quick. So for me, when I was younger, I created the toxic environment. Thus, a female that didn't thrive or didn't live in toxicity would never have worked in the type of relationships that I was giving. Like I would create the situation where I'm getting bucked at, and now I can actually grab you and we can have mad sex. You know, like, well, not mad, angry sex, I think is what it's called. So for me, then I would go for the low-lying fruit because most of the time those women are easy pickings. Easy pickings. And you can kind of talk how you want to, treat them how you want to. They're not going to go anywhere. They're just going to keep talking shit back. Bet. Cool. That means I can be as toxic as I want to be. Back then, I didn't know any better. And it wasn't until I got older where I realized exactly what I wanted, what I would stand for, what I won't stand for, and started standing more on principle and started moving in a better way personally. So there's always that aspect to it. I just wanted to put that out there.
Let me ask you this, because all right. So like when you like creating that environment for sex, if she is like fighting you back or y'all arguing, do you feel that takes away from her being submissive to you in any way, or no, it doesn't matter to you?
Didn't cross my mind back then.
Okay.
It absolutely didn't cross my mind back then. And the irony to it all, I don't even have to be the one to initiate the sex because those women will actually initiate it with you. In that crazy, wild ass state of a relationship that you have. Like, nigga, I'm gonna keep you home tonight. And boom, I bet. And then they throw it back on you. And then those women, I'm gonna tell you, Marcus, you probably already know, they fuck different.
So this thing is funny here. So look, so AB
macaroni noises for 4 hours. You be tired in the motherfucker, sweating all over the place. Macaroni noises. She ain't stopping.
Wait,
anyway, I better stop. I'm gonna go back to that dude. I better stop.
No, you got it, Joe. Miss Polly, let me ask you a question, because women that's extremely submissive, they initiate sex a lot, but it's done in a different way. I have a feeling that maybe you know what I'm talking about, and it would be extremely pause for me to try and do it. Do you know what I'm talking about, Miss Polly?
Say it one more time. We'll make sure I heard you right. Go ahead.
Women who are extremely submissive initiate sex too, but they do it in a different way. And I can't emulate it because it's extremely paused. Can you do it so you can explain what I'm talking about? If not, it's fine. But if you do it.
Do you mean like, if you're in a relationship with them?
Yeah. No. They initiate too, but it's really different.
Making themselves available, like leaving the opportunity available for them to, it's like you're putting yourself there, like you're making it available for them. So it's not,
you ain't saying nothing, but you kind of spooning.
You're saying it. You're saying it. You're saying, okay, so like let's say like, okay, so you already, maybe you want to have sex, then maybe you're gonna like, first you're gonna prepare and make sure everything's like done So like there's no reason to say no. Basically take away all the no incentives. Maybe make them relax. You know what I'm saying? All kind of snuggly kind of stuff, maybe if they like to do that. Kind of initiating, like touching, things like that. And that's you initiating, and then they just go on with the roles. Like you were initiating it like softly.
And that's why I'm a twig. It ain't take much to get the engine started.
Well, do men prefer women to act like, I guess, like what you were saying, initiate sex without actually initiate sex, or being direct and saying, just for lack of better, like, being upfront, be like, give me that dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't saying you're gonna say that. I'm just joking, but I'm just talking about being
like a demon in your throat when you did that.
I was joking, but like being direct.
Hold on,
Hey, look, I'm
gonna drop it in the back chat so you understand what I'm talking about, because I'm not about to explain.
So,
do you want the woman to be direct or not?
So, just to answer your question real quick, Miss Taken, the other day, I walked through the door and it's bam, hey, give me that dick. Wait, huh? Man, let's go. Let's rock. Also, the other night, laying in the bed, got a back rub, and next thing I know, it
doesn't matter.
It really depends on it really depends. But I'm ready to rock and roll either way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that I don't think guys have much issue with eliminating potential what's the word I want to use? They don't have a problem when you make it safe for them to do what they naturally want to do to you. Like if they naturally want to bust that thing down, you want you to bust it wide open for a real G, right? I think that once you remove any of those barriers to make him think like he's not going to hurt you or something like that, and that he's safe enough to be able to engage sexually with you without no threat, without no issue, like more times than not, like whether you say it nicely, whether you rub up on them, whether you grab it, tug it, pull it, say F me, say, hey, I want it now, give it to me. More times than not, guys are just going to be like, hey, it is my duty to please that booty. I think we're good to go.
I think, sorry, I was just like super quick. If you ever tell the man like, you can do whatever you want, they like really mean it. Like whatever you want. What do you want me to do? Like that? Oh yeah, that'll make them think. And then they'll start thinking. You make, like you said, give them an open place.
I'll never say it again.
Yeah, like you say, if they say, "Oh, you want to do something," like, well, whatever you want, do whatever you want.
Say whatever you want. Niggas be getting crazy.
See what happens. I mean, you don't know. I mean, they can only ask, right? What's the hurt of asking? So you just say, do whatever you want, and then just let them take all that in. They'll give you the information that you need to know.
So, Miss Paula, can I ask you a question?
Let me and then let's wrap this up because we got to go to the next question, and then we'll but go ahead.
So if your man were to say, you told your man, hey, what is it that you want to do? Anything. I'll do anything. If he says, drop down and get your eagle on, would you do it?
Like,
yeah, what does that mean? What does drop down and get your eagle on mean?
He talking about giving instruction, and no matter what it is, she follows. So even if you say like crawl to me, I'm gonna tie you up and make you do X, Y, Z. Like that's what you talking about, HD?
Yeah, and I'm also talking about a song by Nelly, Drop Down, Get Your Eagle On.
I was like,
I actually think that shows that's a trust, a level of trust. So I always do this. Sometimes I used to think it was interesting, like if you just test it out, is if you're sitting somewhere and you're like looking at your partner and you tell them, hey, stop, and just tell them to do something random, and if they actually do it, it means they really, really trust you. Because if you just walk by and someone says stop, and then like lift up your hand and they just do it, I know that sounds really simple, but think about that. They're just doing it. They're not asking questions. That's a submissive person to you. they're not thinking about anything because they know whatever you're saying is because you're either doing it because you need to know something, you're not going to hurt them. It's a security thing. So you will feel very, very safe with that person if you just start doing whatever they say to do.
But I think you can be submissive in some areas and not submissive in others. I don't. Yeah.
But she just described earlier. But it requires you to build trust, right? And yeah, but I won't.
Absolutely. Because I don't just across the board in any kind of submission, it has to be a level of trust in order for you to be able to fully submit to anybody. So you may have total trust in a person in one area and maybe not have it in another area. So you can submit in this area, but maybe not necessarily in that area.
So any other truths that we need to talk about fast so we can move on to with the divide, like some things that men think that women need to hear out and vice versa. The divide, what's causing the divide? Okay, let me just do the super chats real fast while you think about it.
Juicy Workshaw, $1.99. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Black Intellectual, $4.99. The fact that Shan is asking for women to be able to choose toxic relationships is crazy to me.
I don't understand.
I don't either. I think he's saying that is asking for women to be. Oh, I think maybe with the point that you were talking about before about how come women don't get grace to make the mistakes like men end up making.
I'm just saying they're both immature. They're both just like a man is immature at a certain age, so is a woman. 25. Well, whether we like to think that women are not 20 when they're 20 is crazy. They're 20. They're 21. They're 22, like it's crazy. I think in men's minds, like, oh, but she's mature. But really, is she? She's still making stupid mistakes. She's still immature. She's a 20-year-old. She's a 16-year-old. She's a 17-year-old. Like, they're still the same. So to think that a man can sit here with like, oh, he gets a pass because his 17 is different from her 17. Not always. Now, do you have mature in both? Yeah, you have some mature young boys. You have some mature young girls. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to give the grace to men and say, oh, I was into that when I was young, but now that I'm older, I know better. You should give the same grace to women because she can say, yeah, I was into that when I was younger, but now I'm older and I know better. Why is that different? It's like, it's concerning to me. Like, I think that men, and this is not you guys, when I look at the grand scheme of things, they want this superwoman with no mistakes. She can't make a mistake. Like, she has to be all knowing coming out of the womb. You know what I'm saying? And that's not fair.
Yeah, but what happens when she makes what happens when she's made the same mistake 38 times already?
Some people are slow learners. Some people are slow learners, okay? Not everybody's swift. Some people can catch on to a mistake the first time, and some people just like cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. They just ain't. She's a slow learner.
Mistake.
Hit her again with it. She ain't getting it. Hit her again with it. Eventually, she may get it. Who knows? But there again, some people learn fast at certain things. Some people they just don't get it. And so that's just not the person for you. You can't judge everybody the same because they're just not the same. And we see it, me and Ms. Sticking probably can speak on this because we see it every day. It can be a room full of 18-year-olds because I teach seniors. Some of them act like they're 18, some of them don't. That's boys and girls alike. Some of them are immature, some of them think before they react, some of them don't. That's why you got fighters. You're not thinking this consequence of me fighting is going to make a lasting, it's going to have more of a lasting it's gonna hurt me more than just the feeling I get from fighting this chick. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hurt me more in the long end. Some people are able to think past the now. Some people just aren't. People make decisions for what people are not the same. We don't all think the same. We just don't. And y'all gotta understand that. It's so crazy to me. But the leaders can wait until they're 40, like I'm the leader of the community, but you're smarter than me. What? No, you can't have it both ways. Like, stop. Please stop. She's immature too. She is. And she do stupid shit too. Girls do stupid stuff. This is how stupid girls can be sometimes. They not even understanding that y'all just want them for sex. Y'all sit here and say, "Oh, he just wants you for sex," and you keep opening your leg. You tell them this all the time, but they can't even comprehend that what they're thinking is something else. That's how delusional women can be sometimes. It's gonna take them going through this step to understand what, dang, they are right. Okay, some people get it fast. Some people get it. It's just.
They not saying nothing. They reading that guy. They like, oh shit.
Some people are easily manipulated. Some people are not. It's just what he say.
You got a video? You too blind.
What I understand.
Never mind.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
What are y'all laughing at?
You on mute.
We're reading an enticing article on the back chat.
Sorry.
Nobody.
Black intellectual $4.99. So your logic, do men get grace for not wanting to deal with your trauma and children at the end of that road?
Yes. People can choose. Listen, the great thing about your life is your life. Okay? When you die, you're responsible for your life. Live your life the way you want to live your life. If you don't want kids, don't have no kids. Don't get in a relationship with a woman with kids. That's your life. That is, God gave you the ability to choose that. It's for yourself. Now, you can't impose what you want on somebody else, but you can choose that for your life. Absolutely. The problem is we think we got the answers for everybody else's life. Meanwhile, your life going down. And you too busy thinking about somebody else's life that your life ain't shit. You understand? You living your life for somebody else. You too busy looking at this man right here, this woman right here, trying to get her life together. Meanwhile, your ass can't pay your bills. You got an eviction letter. Like, come on, live your life for you. Do what is best for you. Okay? As long as it ain't harming nobody else, and you're real with yourself and you're living in your truth, live your life for you. Can't nobody say nothing about you. And be proud of who you are. Because at the end of the day, it is your life. At this point, if you believe in God, you believe in the everlasting life. But all we know is we got this life, right? Why are you living it for somebody else? If this your one opportunity that you know of at this point, why are you living it for somebody else? Do what's best for you.
I agree.
So now, yeah, you get grace. I guess that's what they're saying.
Yep. Y'all see why I couldn't explain it though? That's what I was trying to get.
Let me go back and look at this chat because I want to hee ha ha tell.
Hee ha ha.
Yeah, no, I can't read this too small.
I didn't read it yet. I promise. I was listening to you. I did not
real quick. It was
participate.
I got the gist of what you.
I'm gonna go back and get it. Mistaken, explain it to me. Okay, so let's go into this next video because this is taking the question was, let's address the divide in the Black community, and I think this video is so good because it's not just men and women; it's also the different Black cultures in the community. Okay, or what I like to say, nationalities. Once I find the button, I'ma play the video. Okay, here it is, I think. Yep, this is it.
Explain to me how immigrants come here, don't speak the language, figure it out, go to college, get education. Why are Black Africans, right, from Africa, doing way better than African Americans?
The experience of an African immigrant in the United States is way different than the experience of an African American. They're two totally. If you're an African immigrant, you might as well be white or European.
What?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Just what part of that do you understand? If you're an African immigrant coming to the United States, your outcomes in life, the places that you live, the education you have, you're more on par with an upper class white person than you are with a person who's a descendant of
The
slaves.
biggest difference is the mindset. It's not the
No, it's not
circumstances,
the
not the
mindset.
environment.
It's the families that you come from. Somebody that comes from a family that's driven enough to get their children or themselves to move to the United States from Africa, this is a highly driven family. This is a lot different than somebody whose great-grandparents weren't allowed to buy a house in the city because they were redlined out by a bank in the United States.
I don't know who that dude is, but he be speaking facts on every one of these shows.
Definitely.
He be speaking facts on every one of these. Every time I see a video with him, he be
What's the name of that show that
facts.
he be on? What is the name of that show? Because with the blue hair, like
Yeah, but he goes on different people's shows. I don't know his
okay.
name, but he'll be a guest on, like he was on Pearlie's show. He said hers, like he is so in tune, you know. And I'm like, yo, who is this dude? And I don't even know who he is. But anyway,
His name.
huh? I can't. Mark, hit that microphone, the Amazon mic. Hit it.
Your mic is chopping up. We can't hear you.
Change the setting on it, and you might get like an omnidirectional one, so it could pick
It's
up.
acting like my carbon monoxide detector.
Yeah, but yeah, in that particular clip, he was wrong because essentially the families, you know, they're both saying the same thing. The reason why the family came over and they're able to do what they're doing is because of the mindset. And that's what, you know, Fresh and Fit is arguing, or at least Myron's arguing. Yo, it's the mindset. No, it's not the mindset. Is they came over here and they worked really hard. They have a different mindset. They have a different culture. They have a different way of approaching how to be successful based upon where they came from. So really, that's in this particular clip, Destiny, he was just arguing just to be arguing.
I think that so I do agree that it is a mindset, but there is legitimacy in what he was speaking. So what happens is you have people from other culture who they come from a sound environment, right? And they come over, and usually the people who come over are the higher achievers in the group. So when you see the Indians that come over and they're blossoming because they're the higher achievers, you know what I'm saying? Come to America, we get the best of the group, okay? And I think that's what he meant about you having the you wanting to get you better, what's better for your so you pick your family up and you come over here. So one, we already know you have drive, and there again, you like you said, you're right, that is your mindset, the family mindset. But I also believe that you don't, and this is not every, because some of them do have trauma, and we have to be very, because it's some people even today, because I look at these people who are coming from countries and they're having these wars and stuff. Our trauma did happen a while ago, right? But these people, let's not take away that they have also, some of these people have also experienced their own real life experiencing trauma. You understand what I'm saying? But if we're not talking about those people, when you come over here and you don't understand that, like, look, these people were here before you and they kind of paved the way, and there are some things that went on before you. You don't understand that and you can't grasp that. I think that that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because that knocks down, you know, like I even look at, you know, I was raised in Alabama. Sometimes the mentality, even though racism has been, you know, that type of segregation has been going for a long time. When you have grandparents and great grandparents who were responsible for raising you, and they did grow up during that time, it played on their mental. So they don't trust people the way you trust people. They may teach you a different way of moving because that's how they, like, to this day, my grandmother still does not trust banks. She keeps her money folded, like, you know, she'll put some money in the bank, but it's like an old school way of doing things because she lived during a time where that was you know, I don't know. But you just, when you have that type of, when your ancestors are coming from that type of trauma and they pass it along because you're in survival mode, you can't compare it to somebody who may have not experienced these things, who may have come from a solid household. They didn't have to go through the same struggles as you, right?
I totally agree with you. And the other part to that too that people don't think about, it is mindset, but the mindset is about family, right? So both of those things go together. So when you're coming from as an immigrant, the reason you're coming is for your family, right? So the motivation is totally different. Whereas when you're growing up in a culture, the American culture, which is about self, is about, just gathering wealth to get things. Like, we don't prioritize our drive in regards to family. We prioritize our drive based on getting things. And so the other thing too is, coming from other countries, the education system is different. And so here, when you're coming from a place where you don't get to have an education for free, you have to pay for it. Things like that. Your mindset is going to be different, because you're like, I can't get this here. I'm going to take advantage of all of this here, versus somebody where things are just given to them, where they don't have to earn it, don't have to work for it. You have a different mindset towards that as well. So I think that also plays in it, because you'll see, if you just look back historically, like even during slavery, during the 60s, when we didn't have access to education, guess what? We fought harder to have it. You had slaves sneaking to read, knowing that they can get killed, and trying to teach other people about that. But now we're at a position where now that's just given to us, and it's not appreciated. It's taken for granted. But if we were to go back to a different time where, like, the education system is starting to like, oh, you can't teach them about real Black history, you can't do this. When it get to a place where they're like, nope, you can't come to school, you'll see that drive change, because now they no longer have access to it.
Shan, can you play the video one more time? I want to make sure I heard this guy right. I kind of like, I have an issue with listening to people with blue hair, but if I'm understanding,
don't look at the video, just listen. Okay, I'm about to play it.
Explain to me how immigrants can come here, don't speak the language, figure it out, go to college, get education. Why are Black Africans, right, from Africa, doing way better than African Americans?
The experience of an African immigrant in the United States is way different than the experience of an African American. They're two totally. If you're an African immigrant, you might as well be white or European.
What?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Just what part did you understand? If you're an African immigrant coming to the United States, your outcomes in life, the places that you live, the education you have, you're more on par with an upper class white person than you are with a person who's a descendant of
the
slaves.
biggest difference is the mindset. It's not the circumstances,
it's not the mindset.
environment.
It's the families that you come from. Somebody that comes from a family that's driven enough to get their children or themselves to move to the United States from Africa, this is a highly driven family. This is a lot different than somebody whose great-grandparents weren't allowed to buy a house in the city because they were redlined out by a bank in the United States.
And you know what? This is the thing too, and I'm gonna let you go, AP. The problem I have with Fresh and Fit, and I try not to talk bad about people, yeah, you have a solid family, great hoo-hoo, but your character, the way you move is piss poor. So something was not right in that dynamic. I prefer a person who's humble, who is, over a piss poor attitude. Just negative Nancy. Just you feel like you can make money by bringing other people down, just like skanking people. Like that, to me, that show is like a OnlyFans show. He's on the level of OnlyFans. He's just doing it in a different way. It's kind of like the Howard Stern type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not going to be invited into the association of it's the way they move. It's the same trashiness. Does it make sense? Like, it's trashy. And to me, that is not something to be proud of either. So I don't care if you come from a 2-family household, you came from wherever. You're no different from OnlyFans. You're making money off the same thing they're making money off of. Maybe they're selling their cooch where you're selling them. You're sitting here talking about sexual things and all these things. You're just doing it in a different way. You're just as trashy as they are.
I think they sell anger. I think they sell get back. I think they sell for men who feel like women did not pay them the attention they wanted. They get the chance to really humble them. Sometimes they say some real stuff, like in the midst of that, but a lot of the things they're really into, like, I mean,
it gives me OnlyFans though. Does it not give you OnlyFans?
I've never been on OnlyFans, so I don't know what it's like. So
well, you know the difference between a constructive panel of people opposed to a trashy way of doing, because you can still have the same conversation, but in a different way. You don't bring these women who are not considered the ladies of the group on a panel and have a if you talk to people like this all the time, you one of them. Why are they even in your Rolodex? Why are they even in your conversation? If you are up here and your intellect is up, why are you having a conversation with people who are not even on your level? Like, you wouldn't even have anything in common with these people. Okay.
I think the premise of the show is to be able to embrace a mindset that men feel is, I think, is less prevalent than the show makes it seem. But those women are specifically selected for that. You find like the bimbo who won't be able to argue the point back. But I want to go back to what Destiny said. I agree with everything he said, and I like to add this context. I think most people who immigrate here have a very different stance in regards to almost everything. His point about them being the top 10% or the top position of people who made it from there to here is also something that you need to acknowledge and take into context, because everybody didn't come over, only the highly driven and motivated. And it's really possible. We talked about this before, that ambition, drive, and perseverance is also a gift like height, or a gift like attractiveness. That's a skill or a personality trait that I think transfers intergenerationally, whether it's through nature or nurture. And one of the things is in the Black American experience, we have been fighting against that system, even to just be treated as humans. So there's an amount of disdain that you'll even hear somebody say like, "Oh, you sound white," and it's a very intentional attempt to separate, where people who come here by choice want to integrate. So I think that's probably more of, if right now they flipped it on its head and it meant to be like what our definition of hood is, and lower achieving and all that, if they turn that to what it meant to be white, because of the way we interact with America, we would then go to the opposite end of the spectrum. It's a strong desire to rebel against it, because it's so much ingrained intergenerational trauma and anger towards what happened. And I don't think, if you don't come from that, you won't really understand it. I think it's dismissive to say like when I told you, I showed y'all the book before. When I look at my kids and I look at the receipts for my family being sold, that stuff angers me. It's people who don't have that same cultural upbringing who like, oh yeah, that shit was a long time ago. To me, that shit was yesterday, as far as I'm concerned, because I know how I would have felt in that. And it could be just me projecting, I don't know. But I have an extreme feeling about it based off knowing that this was done to my people. And then talking with my grandfather and hearing the stories about when he was sharecropping, because one of my uncles killed a white man in Mississippi because they came in the house to hurt his son. He ended up killing him, and they had to flee from there. And my people made it to Chicago, migrating due to threat of violence and threat of extreme repercussions from standing their ground where they was at in the South. Like, that come with it. My grandfather still got a cotton plant in his room. It's a whole different cultural upbringing and understanding when it actually affects you and hit home. I seen a study one time that said when you remove the man from a home, like say a man daughter get raped and that man kills the man who raped his daughter, and they remove him from the home, that family's trajectory dramatically changes from other people of the same family who did not go through that specific incident. And they're negative effects that ripple through time the same way positive effects ripple through time. The same way you can solidify your family through creating a business and have generational wealth, you can have generational trauma that ripples throughout society. So, I've experienced it, and I see it all the time. So that's my piece on that.
Mm-hmm.
I personally don't know enough about the immigrant experience to truly speak on that. What I heard was a white dude making excuses, making black people out to be victims, and and this is where Marcus and I kind of have a disagreement, but I truly don't see us as victims because I refuse to be a victim regardless of what has happened in the past. I think where the United States is right now, we have the opportunity to make whatever of it that we choose to make of it. So I refuse to have a victim's mindset. The choices that I've made, the things that have happened in my life are due to the choices that I made, that no one else made. And what I also heard up until the end when he started talking about redlining, what I also heard was basically generalizing Black Americans in regards to work ethic, family structure. We're not a monolith. Some of us didn't have families. Some of us did. Some of us had a huge family that was close, tight knit, came up middle class, maybe even upper middle class, and was able to run with it. Some did not. I think when immigrants, and again, I'm not well versed on the immigrant experience, so this is from a what I've seen type of deal. I think when they come over, all they have is each other, is that family. So they're going to work to be what they would consider successful in the United States. So I, I don't want to. I can't view black people as lazy, and I can't view black people as all from broken homes. That I can't do that.
I don't.
So like I'm listening to this guy, and I'm like, I don't need a white dude to tell me about the black experience when I've lived a black experience my entire damn life. And I make the choices that dictate what happens next in my life.
Right. I'm not removing personal. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. I was going to keep talking in circles because I just kept hearing what kept going through my head is this dude just generalize and say basically because there's no family structure, black people aren't lazy or are lazy and aren't driven. Is that what I'm hearing? And then at the tail end, he talked about redlining. I was like, okay, so this is just a clip, and I'm just taking the clip at what I hear.
Okay, so first, I don't think he was saying black people are lazy. I think he was speaking to. So I believe in personal responsibility, right? I'm a big proponent of personal responsibility, accountability, and taking control of your life and destiny. I'll talk about it often when I speak about you can damn near manipulate the reality you live in, and then the outcomes you get from that. All of those things are tangible things you can hang your hat on in facts. That does not dismiss that there is something that you have to get, the hurdle you have to leap over in order to get to that point. He was talking about the hurdle, right? And my ability to try and remain positive through negative situations is in fact a gift. It's not something it's a gift that maybe you can acquire through trying to manipulate the way you view the world, but it's not something everybody is born with and not something everybody is taught. I think he was just speaking to the realities of something. Acknowledging that something happened, that something is a thing, doesn't negate that they're like if somebody gets. So I'll give you an example. If your daughter, if you had a girl child and she was taken advantage of for 20 years by a corporation, right? Then your best opportunity to earn money was to go work for that corporation. Could you in good conscience go do it?
My best opportunity would be, okay, I just want to make sure I understand the scenario. My daughter worked 20 years at a company.
No, she was your daughter was like trafficked for 20 years by a specific court, let's say a AA company. They kidnapped your daughter and they sexually trafficked her and exploited her for 2 years. And when she got free, your opportunity to provide for your family was to go work for that company. Would you do it?
Absolutely not.
That's how we view America in a sense. The people that feel how I feel about it. So that now, does that mean you don't got to go provide for your family? Does that mean you don't got to get a job? Does that mean you don't got to do? It doesn't mean any of those things. But there's that context to it with everything. That's why I made the comparison about our desire to not assimilate is different than people who immigrate here with the desire to assimilate.
So
they don't have that experience. To them, it's just a company with an opportunity. To us, there's something attached to that opportunity that we have not been able to shrug on.
So then you walk around angry every day.
That's pretty much the Black person experience.
I'm not angry. I don't walk around angry. I'm not mad at the United States, mainly because I understand the nature of people, and people will typically do what's in the best interest of themselves, and that's what colonizers do. They go and take over an area and try to make it what they want it to be. And once you understand that,
specifically one time, I can't remember what the topic was, but it had led you down a rabbit hole. It was one of the conversations we had, and then Inaz had brought something up, and then you started doing research and reading it, and you said, this is very hard for me because I'm starting to get angry. I think what happens a lot of times is that when you become more conscious, like a lot of us walk around without knowing our history, not knowing things about like redlining and black codes and Jim Crow laws and the impact that really had. But when you start learning about those things, it's very difficult to not get angry, even though you may not have directly experienced it, let's say at firsthand. But me knowing that my grandmother experienced it, me knowing that my grandmother knew her grandmother who was enslaved, like the fact that she freaking knew a slave. Like, people talk about slavery happened so many years ago, and it really is not that far. The fact that I know somebody that had firsthand experience talking to a slave, hugging a slave, like that is my family. That's not that far. So imagine if that would be my great grandmother, right? My grandmother knew her. So imagine all of the trauma that she experienced, passed it on to my great grandmother, who then passed that on to my you understand what I'm saying? So that trauma is still here, but we talk about it like it didn't exist. And then even though slavery ended, the mindset, you can't legislate people's hearts. And so you have all of those laws that were set up to also continue to keep Black people in their place. Now we're at a time where we're saying, yeah, you don't have those same barriers, so just forget about all of that. You ain't experienced, so you should be able to move forward. But that doesn't mean that the way that you were raised haven't impacted the way that you think. Like my father to this day, anything he talk about, he'd be like, well, the white man, you know what I'm saying? And that's because that has been his experience. So growing up hearing that, guess what? I'm going to have some kind of reservations about white people. Even though that wasn't my direct experience, I'm going to have some reservations because of his experience. You understand what I'm saying?
AP, I agree with you how deep this shit hit. Me and Mistaken Brother played on the same team, right? I was getting a lot of burn. At one point in time, the coach ended up calling somebody an N-word, an all white man. That shit affected me so much. I walked away from, right or wrong, right? I could have used the millions, but I walked away from that because my conscience wouldn't let me continue to sit there and play and be around this white man after being disrespected like that. And that it's not just people be like, oh, the N-word don't matter. It don't matter to you coming from them. It's got a whole lot of historical context and reasons why. Like right now, I was talking to my friend Scott the other day. He was like, bro, if you could do this again, would you have left? I'm like, I may have tried to like take it. He was like, you wouldn't have been able to. I know you too well. Your conscience would have ate you up. And we could have been prepping you for a year for him to do that. You still would have had the same response. I'm like, you know what? I can't lie, you right. Because we was talking about what I would have done with 15 to 20 million going to the first round. Because me and her brother was plotting for the same spot. He ended up going to the league, and I was playing over him at one point. You know what I'm saying? So it was a real trajectory, and it got derailed specifically from that. And I don't regret it. Like, and
first of all, I've never said to forget. My mindset is to always adjust. So, and if you don't mind, Marcus, I'm just going to use the scenario that you went through, if that's okay, to kind of help make this case. So, in the scenario where I hear a coach, and I've actually never heard a coach ever say this, but in a scenario where I hear a coach call me or someone else the N-word, and like, I don't think I don't believe anybody should say it, especially white folks. But my objective at that point is, I'm gonna get this motherfucker fired. That will literally be my goal. I will make that my mission until that mission is complete. So, in my get back isn't for me to think and destroy my livelihood. No, bro, I didn't make you say whatever you said, and I didn't make you think the thoughts that you had. But what I will do is make it my purpose to ensure you don't get the opportunity to do that or say that or behave that way to another kid for at least through the remainder of my overall career. That will always be a highlight for me, because I'm not like I'm not the dude that I'm the get back dude. I'm not gonna let it go.
You don't understand the power.
But at the same time, I understand. At the same time, I understand that they have their own rules to this game, and as soon as you learn their rules, beat them at that game, and I think that is something that is totally achievable. So
this was a different time, AP. One, like right now, you can do that. Absolutely. You got social media. You got a way to get that message out there. You got a way to actually fight back. When this happened, it was still legacy media, the only way to communicate or get a message out. There was no internet or social media. Then if you bring it to the athletic director,
the power dynamic was different.
The power dynamic was way different. He was like the
winningest coach. They get rid of him.
Yeah, not for that. So you got to understand it was a way different time. Right now, it's possible. Back then, it wasn't no recompense. It was really nothing.
And again, I understand exactly what you're saying, but what I also understand is you can't be the winningest coach without a team on the court. So do you believe that you in the locker room could have gotten your brothers to band with you and say, we're not playing for this?
No,
I tried. They wanted.
I'm asking because again, I wasn't there. That's why I'm asking.
No, I'm telling you, it's 12 people in line to become multimillionaires. To them, it was not that important.
Who got families that they were responsible for?
Yeah. All of that.
And honestly, that's why I think part of
that's the sadder part to me, though.
America is able to do what they do because the emphasis is always on the money, right? So I can dangle money in front of you. People will sell their soul for that. You know what I'm saying? So when you say, well, I can pull, look at what happened. What was his name? That took the knee. What's his name? The football player. And he was taking a knee. He had the big afro.
Oh, Kaepernick.
Yeah, Kaepernick.
He did it wrong too.
But what I'm saying is that his attempt at trying to do that cost him him being able to be on the team. Now, honestly, it worked out in his favor later on. But a lot of times what happens is we're trained to have an individual mindset, and it doesn't work all the time, especially when you're trying to stand on principle. A lot of time you're standing by yourself.
That's a fact. And I took that. I understood that then. I understand that now. I have no regrets about it. I got pride in the fact that I did it. I could use a couple more.
But you still do that though, Marky Mark, because in these podcasts they be so against you, but you don't even be caring. You be like,
Yeah, I've been the same
I
person.
said what I said.
I've been
Y'all
the same.
take with me.
Now, see, I understand, and I think Kaepernick did it wrong too. But again, I didn't know what he tried to do behind the scenes first, which is why I asked Marcus, did you try to get your brothers on the squad
I did.
to take the I'm gonna say the proverbial knee as well? But you said you attempted that, so obviously those cats is like, nah, bro, I feel you, but I want that money. That then you have to do it the Ali route, and that's unfortunate.
The other thing too is you got to understand that a lot of times when you have a principle that you're standing on something, not everybody have the same principles. So even though you feel you're doing the right thing and that you're willing to risk it all because this is your principle and I'm standing on this, other people's principles do not align all the time. So if I don't see a benefit or if I don't have that same principle, then I can't move the same way that you move. The way that I see the world, the decisions that I make is not necessarily going to align with what you do. So that's why it's so important to know who you are. Like Marcus said, yeah, I walked away from an opportunity that could have set me up totally different. But guess what? I don't regret it because I knew what I was standing on, and that will never change for me. I made my livelihood somewhere else, a different way. And so you have to respect that.
No, I'm not knocking it. As a matter of fact, it takes a lot of strength to do that. But that's why I was asking those probing questions as to, like, there are different avenues, but if nobody wants to take that avenue with you, nobody's willing to say, you know what, that's wrong. And the other problem that I have is actually with there's probably 4 white guys, which means there's 8 other brothers on the squad that just kind of just squatted and accepted it, which is crazy to me. We at some point have to stand on principle while beating them at their own game. And it was unfortunate that Marcus didn't have any other squad members to stand on that principle with him. So he had to do it the Ali route. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to play for this guy. Like Ali, Muhammad Ali is who I'm talking about. On principle, I'm not going to war. And it has actually nothing to do with me maybe dying. It has to do with more brothers giving their life for a country that don't give a damn about them. Which is how he felt. And I can't knock you for that when you got to stand on principle. I'm just go ahead.
So I got 2 things to say. I think a war or going into the military is something totally different than I think that I don't look at it as you're doing it to, for necessarily white people or a country. A country is an entity. Like it's not, your family lives here too. So you don't want people raiding this place because it's going to affect your family if people raid the country. You know what I'm saying? So you have to fight. You have to have representation, just for that. But this is the problem. I get what the guy is saying, but this is where we as a people, Black people, go wrong. African Americans, when I say Black people. The shit we be fighting for is stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand your point, Marcus. I understand your point, AP. But some of the stuff we be doing is so out of line. Like you can't think it's right. It's so wrong that it can't be right. You know what I'm saying? The stuff we fight for. Oh, you fight against education. Who don't want to be smarter? Like who? Like you just want to walk around dumb on a 5th grade level all your life? Like, it's like this, the things that can, you fought to read. Now you can read. You don't want to read. How can you beat anybody being a dummy? Like it's just we end up dumbing down ourselves by fighting against things that can literally help you. You know what I'm saying? We talk about family structure. Oh, marriage is not, beneficial for me. But your kids do better. Like the stuff that we fight against is like
On
just
point. Keep cooking. Keep cooking.
The solution for that would be this, right? I don't know if y'all remember a show, A Different World.
Mm-hmm.
So what they did was the image of Black people was one that was cultivated kind of by the Cosby Show and A Different World to a large segment. They had the highest enrollments in HBCUs at the time. If a real solution was warranted, it would be to turn the image of Black people, our collective image, to one of the most, like Neil Tyson Degrassi was a representative type of, like we were only the most highly educated. Within a generation or two, you would see an extreme shift. If people was like, oh, you acting like a white boy because you got an F. Are you acting like a white boy because you went to jail? Are you acting like, if we shifted the way we perceive what's white and Black socially, it would shift and switch all these things. Because we can say people are individuals, but that example and many others in my life have shown me the majority of people are followers, and that's not race specific or gender specific. The majority of people are followers.
And then too, one of the things to point out, we have a way of glorifying wrong behavior. You know what I'm saying? Even at an early age, we glorify wrong behavior. Like, why are we doing this? Oh, you fight that girl, like we glorify this stupidity, and it just makes you look even weaker. Like, why do we do that as a people? I mean, we talk about this every episode. I know. Look at our music. What are we doing? Stop. It is so horrible.
So when we talk about propaganda and leverage and all those things, if you don't control your entity and likeness, then the person who's in control of it, specifically for people that are followers, is kind of in control indirectly through influence of how you perceive yourself, from the way you dress, which is why you see rappers wearing purses. Now you see men wearing purses. It was a skit on the Boondocks a while ago, right? And we got to that point. You see people wearing robber masks outside. Now you see random people just wearing masks like they're gonna hit a lick. Like, the amount of following that we do is ridiculous. And it's not specific to us. I'm saying, if we was able to somehow cultivate the collective, if we was in charge of our collective identity and it was only the highest esteemed academia, you'll be surprised how many kids graduated from the most prestigious universities and had some of the most prestigious careers, because we reframed what their identity was. A lot of us grew up, and to be Black was, man, I want to be like Pac. I want to be like Big. I want to, like, in this new era, I want to be like Nipsey. I want to be like Jay-Z. I want to be like our icons. The people we look up to have a specific image. That image is what you tend to see through the pipeline on varying degrees. However, the person who's in charge of making sure that gets pushed is directly controlling where we collectively go as of right now, because we are such followers.
Listen, I agree. I mean, imagine, I think that if we focus on it, I think that Black people, if Black people has got together and said, education is important, it's popular, more people be educated. It has nothing to do with your ability. You want to do it. If that was popping on the scene, more people want to do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just we praise this. Oh, you went to jail. Like, it give you some stripes or something. Like, what? What did you go for? Like, it's crazy how we praise the negative. We praise all these bad things, and we tend to knock things that are good.
I've asked this question 1,000 times. How do you make positivity
crazy to me?
How do you make positivity entertaining? Because we'll see on different platforms, like, people that complain if like on the Thursday show, that's the highest rated show with the most watched show, right? It requires contention. It requires chaos. It requires fighting to be that. Like,
it's like the Jerry Springer.
Yeah. How do you make that entertaining to the bulk of people?
But I think, Marcus, I agree, because all of those things go hand in hand. But I think the problem is that it starts even before that. Because you say, well, how do you change the narrative? The narrative will change if you had families, right? So your kids are not going to be exposed to, like you said, the Jerry Springers, all of that, because you are active in the home. And I think that's the part that has gotten messed up. Like growing up, like hell, we grew up in the crack era. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
We were key kids. So we, I mean, and even then I look at, not to say that there weren't kids that grew up with trauma. Absolutely. Your parents are crackhead. You're going to grow up in some kind of trauma. You know what I'm saying? But I still think that, just from my experience, even though the parents were crackheads, guess what? Those same children was in church on Sunday, even if the mama wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was more because there was more of a community, because you had more people who were like, raising their kids, even despite the fact that you were dealing with this epidemic of drugs, there was still a level of care and taking care of kids in the home. If they wasn't getting it directly in the home, there was the neighbor. There was, there was somebody around. Where I think now
grandparents
is so different. Like when we snuck and watched TV. We knew we weren't allowed to be watching Video Music Box because of what was on there, what was being said, the music. And we snuck when our parents weren't there. But guess what? When they got home, we knew we couldn't.
You knew it was wrong.
Right.
So you wasn't bumping it with your parents. You knew you was sneaking to do it. It was
a
something
level
about
of
it
between what was expected, what we did and what was expected. And I think now the problem is that there is no line. There is no distinction. Like I literally have been in a parent's home with a kid that literally cusses her out, where I had to say to the student, like, listen, I know you probably talk to your mother like that, but it's just so disrespectful. And it makes me so uncomfortable even just hearing you say that, because I would never. The fact that I had to say that to a kid because he's using F-bombs and telling her to F herself and leave him the F alone, and you can't tell me what the F to do, like that is crazy to me. But that's the generation that we're in. So it's not just the music, it's also the household,
the family dynamic, which comes back to whether, I don't care if you ain't getting married. Okay. If y'all decide to have a kid together, y'all need to raise the kid together in the same household. Because even one parent doing it for a amount of time, it can be, you can end up playing, the kid will play it against each other. You know what I'm saying? Unless y'all on the same page. You feel me? Like, we gotta bring the family back. Like, it's like mandatory.
I agree.
Can I make
a functional family.
Can I answer a question from Inaz in the chat real quick? The question that was asked was, how did Kaepernick do it wrong if they're kneeling for different reasons now, or something to that effect? Well, first of all, this is how Kaepernick did it wrong. You first got to understand the players' union. If you really feel that there's an injustice against America, and you want to really affect change, especially during football season, all you have to do is go through the players' union, get your other brethren, if they're willing to. And again, this is going back to Marcus's situation. They didn't want to do it with him, but try to get your brethren on board. And here's how you do it. The clock does not start in a football game until the person first touches the ball on whether it be the kickoff or the first snap. Once that person touches the ball, you can waste 15 minutes by simply marching down the field, walking. And the clock doesn't stop until the ball crosses the end zone or he's tackled. If you do that with every single freaking game that's going on a Sunday, now you're affecting the pockets of the owners. Once you're affecting the pockets of the owners, and you got to know who the owners are, we're talking about some rich, powerful white men. Once you start affecting their pockets, then you will get change. Until you affect their pockets, habits, especially from like I'll say about 2008 on, you're constantly fighting a losing battle. And you know who actually lost out in that? Cap, who left I believe it was $11 million on the table. Now he ended up getting some kind of money from Nike, but he has not thrown a football in the NFL since. Now, if you get everybody on board, you want to start affecting change, you got to hit people where it damn hurts. Because if you can do that for 4 quarters, the game ends in a damn draw in a game that ended 14-14. That's what would happen.
How long you think that'll last before they're able to recruit the next generation of college kids to come in and just play?
So here's the issue, and you already know this, Marcus. Now you have to build names from the college ranks. You don't have you're basically you got a 63-man roster on each NFL team. Do you remember the 70s season when they played with replacements with the ratings at the lowest it had ever been to that point? When the ratings at that time were going up, nobody wants to watch a shit show of a football game, and nobody wants to watch people that they don't know. So you would actually have to build a 30. Was it? Let's call it 28 teams. I forget. I'm not doing the math right now. You got, 16, 32 teams in the league, and you got to build them from scratch. You'd have to build them from scratch and build up the player profile so that people knew the players. That would take at least 2 seasons. Those guys are not going to miss that damn money. That's too much money left on the table. What they're going to do is go to the players union and say, okay, what do we need to do to fix this? We need our product on the field. That's how you affect change. You don't and I understand. I understand. Maybe not everybody would have wanted to do it because we're talking about millions and millions of players' dollars being left on the table. But per contract at that time, as long as they touched the field and played, putting quotes around it, played the game, the owners had no choice but to pay them because then they could have been sued for breach of contract. And quite frankly, if you want to make a change, if you really want to make a big change, that's how you do it. Otherwise, Cap took a hit is all null and void because right now the ratings for the NFL are going up. And what change have we really seen? What have they really implemented? What they put in? They gave us something symbolic with putting shit on the helmet that said no justice for all or whatever the case is. Like, oh yeah, thank you for doing that. We're glad you're paying attention. They not paying attention. They wanted you back on they want to play the game. They want their money. And if you don't affect that, then you're not affecting shit.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Ms. Polly.
Okay. So yeah, I know it's me. I'm sorry. I don't want to, but kind of just gonna hit back off on you guys saying being at home, having those kind of different like family dynamics. I was just gonna mention in there that I think that not only having both parents in the house, which I think is beneficial, as long as they're not at each other's throats all the time, is the fact that there's like this really thin line between being your children's friend and being their parent. I think there's a lot of parents, I don't know, it might have something to do with the age gap between them because it's not like a really large age gap between a lot of children and their parents now. Not saying there wasn't before, but like it's a lot smaller. And they want to be their friend. They're like growing up with their children. And so to have respect for someone who you deem as actually like a sibling is a little bit difficult too. When you're literally, I hear a lot of stories where like, oh, my mom graduated and I'm like going into high school. And it's like, wait, what? Like, it's like they're literally growing up with their mom and dad as if they're like a sibling. And that's a whole different dynamic in a house. It totally changes everything. And even the ones who do have a big or a big enough age gap. And I won't say it's all women, but there's a lot of women who, want to live as if they're still in their 20s. They're still going out partying. It's not unusual to hear, okay, there's 40-year-olds in the club as if they're 20-year-olds, and they're like drinking and having and I'm not saying you shouldn't do that anytime and have a good time here and there, but those same women who have children who are 20, they're at the club with their, with their daughters, having drinks, trying to get laid and all this. And it's like, why would that person respect you as a parent? You're doing the same thing they're doing. You're literally going through those same cycles of growing up, and you haven't got anything from that. So literally, what you went through, you're trying, let's say, for example, as a young lady, let's just give an example of a young lady. If you were a young lady and you obviously, you're starting to start dating and all this, but you have a mom who's still out here trying to date too. She's at the club wearing the same kind of clothes you wearing. It's like she's in the same kind of situation you're doing. And you see, hey, she hadn't found somebody yet. And she's, sleeping around here and there. And then you start doing it. Like, what room does your mom have to come to you and tell you to settle down and find a good man? Like, you would laugh at her. You would think in your mind she has nothing to show you. She can give you nothing. She's having the same battle you're having, so she has no room to talk. I think if you're still trying to act like a child too, I mean it's a real issue, that line between being an actual parent, saying no, being responsible and showing them what it's like to grow up and be mature, act a certain way. They have no example. So now we're all living in the same kind of realm of being like children. Not all of us, but I'm just saying those kind of people.
Yeah,
I think
parents
that
want to be their kids' friends. They
Yes,
mistake, and I see this a lot too in my field, where you have younger teachers who are trying to connect with the students and end up trying to be their friends, and then the student don't respect them because they misunderstand what it means to have a relationship, a connection with a kid, but with boundaries. And I think a lot of times now parents are yearning to have relationship with the kid as opposed to being the parent. And so you cross it, like even now, my daughter's 28, she's gonna be 29. And I remember, I think she was about maybe 25. She was like, yeah, well, I'm gonna go out. We're gonna go to the club together. And no, we're not. She's like, what do you mean? I'm grown. I'm grown. I'm like, yeah, but you'll never be my age. We're not friends. I'm not trying to hang out with you like that. Like, I'm just not. And she's like, why? Like, I mean, I'm old enough to drink. You go, but we're not on the same level. Like, we're not friends. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is sometimes where we forget to draw the line. Now, that's not say that I don't, I love my daughter. We have conversations. There's nothing that she can't ask me or talk to me about, but there is still a level, like she can't curse in front of me. Like, now she has, and be like, oops, mom, my bad. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to trip on her, but just the fact that it's in her mind that she knows there's a certain level of respect that she needs to maintain when talking to me or her dad, because we're parents. And I think a lot of times, especially now, we in this generation, this day and age, that they don't understand a line of respect, regardless of how they feel. It's like, I can be disrespectful. If you don't respect me, I ain't gonna respect you. If you didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff. There is just certain things, like even now, my mom knows that I drink. She doesn't drink. My dad doesn't drink. But when I'm in my house, I drink. If they come over here, I might have something. My husband might have a beer. But guess what? When I'm at their house, I don't drink. It's not because I'm scared or I'm trying to hide. It's a level of respect. I'm respecting their position and I'm respecting their home. And we need to get back to those things, and we don't have that.
Fact.
Yeah. I want to
Yeah,
touch
I
on
agree.
some of the things you
Oh,
guys were talking about as far as the what is it called? The race issues, or the Kaepernick, like the whole thing about, I think that I have a very interesting perspective on this. I consider professional sports another form of modern day slavery. And the reason why I think that is because if you ever look at the combine, how the bodies are looked at, how they're judged, and how they go through this whole entire system, and we have owners and all these other things, it's just another form of entertainment for these people. They make butt tons of money for this product that they present to millions and internationally. It's just a really tough thing for me to like when I stop and think about it, it just makes me a little uncomfortable. But I think that the idea that um slavery was a long time ago, when I agree with you, mistaken, like everybody has had some form of interaction with somebody that was like a great grand or a grand that is a direct descendant or had some dealings with the cultures from like 1865 all the way to 1965. And there are still some people that were sharecroppers that have like died like a few years ago. Like some people live to be like 100 and something years old, and they know exactly what it feels like to have been experiencing some of the things that's been going on. Um, and I just think it's just increasingly unfair to people to sit up here and say like you shouldn't feel any type of way about the things that has happened to these people that didn't necessarily happen to you, but it happened to the people that's connected to you. I don't think it's fair to say people shouldn't have a feeling to uh feel some type of way about it. But in spite of that fact, I still kind of have like an idea of like the great debaters or like any other like race movie where they're trying to break through to the other side. The reality is that like this thing that you feel very justified in defending is valid. You should be able to articulate and you should be able to articulate. You should be able to be like, yo, this is disrespectful. I'm standing on a principle that, is for my people and it's not just about me, right? But I also think that like we get caught up on the small stuff and we fight these things that give us these that makes them apologize publicly and they give us some little toy like, hey, here you guys go to appease the people, and then we continue to stay further away from what we're really trying to get to because, oh, this was the first step. They gave us this little thing. People have had a history of just giving black people in general little trinkets to be like, oh, we did something for you, this should be good enough. And I know there's a quote that I learned even when I was in school. It says, people that don't know their history are doomed to repeat it, right? And people will be like, well, we need to learn more history. We need to. I said, you don't think that these people have done enough stuff that we know about? Like, I don't need to learn more history for me to understand that the stuff that I already know warrants X amount of things that should be given, right? Like, I don't need more and more trauma, more and more history about more and more problems and this, that, and the third for me to realize that, yo, the government and these people is wrong. Like, I think that we have more than enough evidence to justify, yo, reparations and all these other things, right? And we also have more than enough evidence to know that, yo, this government don't care nothing about you. So because you know that this government isn't designed to be a benefit to you, you should adapt the mindset that, listen, I can't change what has happened through my bloodline that has happened in the past. I can't change none of that. But I have an opportunity to get some real things passed. And if I can understand how to get to some of the things that I need that will not only benefit me, but benefit other people that look like me, I'm going to do that. So what could have happened is that, hey, say for instance, coach called me the N word and this, that, and the third. And I'm like, oh, that's trash. I want to make him pay for that. I can choose to, even in that case, I could say, you know what? You know what really messed this dude up? I take all the things that I learned from him, and I take it and go make a butt ton of money off of it. And then I come back and I create a board, I create a system, I create a group that has dedicated to deal with situations like this, so that these people that are coming up after me that don't have to experience this, because we now have a way for us to infiltrate these systems to be able to stop these situations. Like, I think that sometimes in our justifications, we sometimes act somewhat short-sightedly, and we don't know what we could have done to further push things off in the future. Now, granted, your conscience is your conscience. If you can't live, there's certain things, certain amounts of disrespect I can't take no matter who it's coming from. So I agree with you, Marcus. Like, listen, there's certain things, there's no reason for me to back down from this, even though everybody else is telling me to do it. I'm not going to back down from it. But it's just like, I think that some of the things that we fight for, I think we should really start being a little bit more strategic, so we can actually truly get the true change that we really want. Because the reality is they've been playing the same game, and every time we figure out the game, they change the rules. So if I know how the game keeps getting played and they keep changing the rules, I think our best benefit is like, what is a way for us to get ahead? Because I'm tired of playing the runaround with these people, and then we keep entering back in the same spot.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I was 19 when that happened. So if you watch how I move now, it's very strategic with a whole lot of impulse control, and like I plot. I'll plot my revenge now. Like I'll let you think you got it and just sit back. I'll wait for a long time to get my revenge now. But at that point, I was very impulsive when it came to, you know what I'm saying. So no, but I agree with that.
Yeah, man. I think that you did what you were supposed to do, man. Because sometimes, like, those kind of situations set you on a path for you to understand, like, the power of a moment, like the power in understanding how to operate in a certain moment of time. Like, those things could be pivotal. And sometimes if you don't never experience those things and see how other people, when you bring these things to these people, see how they respond, you say, oh, okay, I'm built different. Like, any place that I go to, like, I never really considered myself a leader until like some years later. Some years ago. I was always thought that I was a follower because I was perfectly fine sitting in the background. But as I keep going through my life, I start realizing, like, other people ain't bothered by the same stuff that I'm bothered by. And that's for a reason. And it's something for me to pay attention to. And I've been paying attention to it ever since. And I'm just like, yo, like, when it's time, yo, a lot of us need to be able to step into our stuff, because, like, yo, if we don't step up, nothing is going to change.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. I have
HD, that was facts, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here, y'all. I just have to start working on my house because I ain't gonna have time to do it tomorrow. So
Okay, well, I was just about to wrap it up because I got a real bad headache right now. I'm sorry, y'all.
what was in that red cup?
Something that the husband made. It got me messed up right now.
All right. Anybody? Oh, she done took the wig off. Anybody else have any final thoughts or anything they wanted to? No.
No. I was gonna say hi, guys. I'm sorry, I had to run away. I came back. Well, hope you feel better. That's important.
Yeah. Maybe that hat. Take the hat off.
We got so many questions for you, Miss Polly, but because you're not here, we ain't asking.
We're going to definitely wait for the Miss Polly. I ain't want to turn my light on with my house.
Marcus is dying. You have left last time and he was still asking questions. He's like, yo, he's gone. He's gone. I know one question that he want to ask, and I want to hear it too, but I know
We'll
what it is.
ask. We're gonna have a whole poly show. We'll ask later.
Let me put it in the back chat real quick because I want to know. I know what it is. I'll type it for you real quick.
You remember one of them?
I remember what it was.
Let's wait for the show.
Yeah,
because I'm sure we all have questions.
Show, yes. All right, you guys. So I guess we're gonna sum it up. Mistaken got a headache. I thought y'all was gonna hear y'all talk while I clean up, but I guess not.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. All right. Good night, you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Same time. Well, time varies. Same place. Same day. See you later. Good night.
Bye.